Ok, allez, on est parti pour la quête d'Archon, la suite, comme le flair clair de lune d'antan. Il n'a été acquitté, mais vous ne savez pas ce que vous devriez faire ensuite. Vous avez donc décidé d'accepter le repas d'adieu proposé par Navia pour célébrer votre coopération. Ah oui, ça c'est vrai ça. Donc là, on va aller bouffer.
I came here several times with my father when I was little, but stopped eating here as often after growing up. I hope the food here will be to your taste.
Oh, don't worry. We haven't eaten at a hotel like this in a while. Paimon's getting excited already.
In that case,
C'est vrai que l'hôtel est chic, hein.
First. Please wait here a moment.
Ooh, everything
Oh là là.
looks so good.
En vrai, j'ai mangé il y a pas longtemps, mais ça donne faim.
Fontaine sure know how to enjoy life.
Why, of course. Go ahead, try whatever you like. If the food's good, I'll make a group reservation for the rest of Spina di Rosula next time.
And if it's not?
Well, then I'll still bring everyone. Albeit with only one dish per table.
You, sure have your own way of doing things.
Bon, par contre, on est d'accord que Navia est riche.
Oh, we called this a farewell meal, but we could also treat it like a victory feast, right? We did just win
En
that
vrai,
race after all.
Navia a carry avec le move de fin, donc c'est vrai que c'était un plaisir de collaborer avec vous.
Oh, true. Very true. In that case, boss, we'll have another 2 dishes.
Paimon didn't mean that you had to order even more food.
Après, je pense que Paimon, ça la dérange pas. Hein. Elle fait genre et tout, mais elle va juste
Speaking of cases,
tout manger.
do you think that the mastermind behind the serial disappearances will get caught soon now that this has all happened?
Est-ce que Koal était vraiment le mastermind, comme elle le dit, derrière les disparitions? Bon, vu le flop qu'il a eu. Après, est-ce que le flop de Koal en soi était prévisible? Parce qu'il a pas eu de chance, quoi.
I feel that's about it. We know that there's an organization that means to dissolve these young women, but we still don't know what they are really after.
If it hadn't happened right in front of us, Paimon wouldn't have ever believed that a person could be dissolved like that.
Right? Yet it was because this was such a preposterous notion that the investigation could never really move forward before.
Ugh. If only that guy could have finished speaking.
Ah, c'est vrai, oui. C'est vrai que Von, pile quand il allait parler, il s'est fait dissoudre.
In such investigations, even the smallest step can seem like a yawning chasm if the trail of clues is cut off. To be honest, I don't have high hopes for any follow-up that the authorities might conduct. It's not that I don't have faith in their ability, it's just that a different perspective is required in some matters. It's easy to guard against and deceive a single narrow perspective. A shift in thinking is required at such times in order to produce a breakthrough, which is exactly why the Spina di Rosula exist. Those highfalutin folk are not all-knowing.
Spina di Rosula, c'est italien.
Seep into the cracks where filth falls through, where their watch fails them.
Vous savez ce que ça veut dire? C'est quoi la traduction de Spina di Rosula? Ça serait quoi la traduction en français de Spina di Rosula? L'épine de rose. Ok, ouais. L'épine, la spirale, l'épine de rose. Okay.
It's all right. Well, this was supposed to be a farewell meal, so I doubt you have further interest in this business, right? Let's talk about something else. Like,
bah oui, bonne question. Hein. Comme d'habitude, archon hydro, Fontaine, notre frère.
That's true. We didn't have a chance to speak to her after the trial ended. It didn't really seem like the right time or place to do it anyway.
I see. So, your primary objective, which has been foiled so far, was to have a chat with the Hydro Archon. I've heard that there's a long line of people waiting to meet Lady Furina.
Après, je pense que vu ce qu'on a fait, elle a peut-être nous octroyer une audience.
On
a des contacts, nous.
Yeah, we've heard that she's super popular here in Fontaine, and that it'll be tough getting any of her time.
Well, would you consider some more, unique ways? Perhaps even methods of,
officieux.
Let's say, questionable legality?
Guess that's Spina di Rosula's boss for you.
La mafia italienne, c'est ça.
Sketchy ideas. Well, what did you have in mind?
Well, one way would be to infiltrate a performance troupe at the Opera House, only to abandon your act at the play's climax and ask to speak to her after the performance. I'm sure Lady Furina would be eager to see the ending, and would agree in order to finish watching the play.
Okay.
Don't you think?
Ouais, du coup, lui faire du chantage, quoi.
Did you suggest something a little
Soit tu fais l'audience avec nous, soit tu vois pas le spectacle et on va tout cacher.
We'd have to go learn how to act, and acting's really hard.
Alright, here's another. Find a way to conceal yourselves under her bed. Then, wake her up in the dead of night and demand answers. Don't let her go back to sleep until she answers all your questions.
Ça va un peu trop loin, s'infiltrer chez quelqu'un, se cacher sous son lit, tout ça. Bon, la Navia, ça devient un peu, ça va un peu trop loin là, je pense.
I can personally testify that this one works. When I'm sleepy, I'll do anything as long as I can finally get some sleep.
Ah, je crois qu'elle a dit, je peux vous assurer que ça marchera à coup sûr, parce qu'elle allait dire qu'elle avait déjà essayé à maintes reprises, mais non.
That might work, but that's not really the problem. The problem is we don't want to get ourselves arrested.
Ah, valid point. I overlooked that part. All right, no more joking around. Perhaps you could...
Doubler les gens? Ouais, bon.
Oh, I don't know. Cut the line when she's on a break. You did defeat her in court, clearing citizens of hers from false accusations. False accusations she had nearly upheld personally. I imagine that she feels quite ashamed about the whole thing.
You mean that if we catch her while she's on a break, she might be too embarrassed to refuse? Oh, that does make some sense.
Allons-y.
Why don't we give it a try after this meal? You know, strike while the iron is hot and all.
Huh? Paimon, did you drink my Fanta?
Son
Was
Fonta?
this your drink?
Fonta.
Sorry about that. Paimon wasn't really paying attention and the cup was right next to Paimon.
No, it's fine. We're just about done here.
Alright. Honestly, Paimon wouldn't recommend Fanta anyway. It tastes kind of salty and icky.
Boisson salée.
Is that so? Huh. Well, in that case, we'll have to blacklist the Fanta here then. If we're all finished eating, then I'll go pay.
Ok. Allez, on a bien mangé.
We're stuffed. Thanks for the treat, Navia.
Maintenant, passons à l'audience avec Furina. D'ailleurs, vous dites Furina ou Fausse alors du coup? Maintenant. Après avoir... après maintes reprises. Enfin, après avoir fait la quête et tout.
Paimon can barely float anymore.
J'avoue que moi je dirais les deux. Genre je vais swap. Là où pareil... Bon après, je connais pas toute l'histoire, ok? Ça se trouve, il y a un délire encore avec Bal, comme Bal et tout. Mais c'est vrai que moi au début, je disais Bal et pas Raiden. Maintenant, je dis tout le temps Raiden. Et je dis plus jamais Bal. Mais on va dire qu'il y a une justification scénaristique à que je ne dise plus Bal. Là, voilà. Je veux pas savoir si c'est le cas, hein. Je dis juste, je sais pas si c'est le cas. Donc pour l'instant, moi je dirais Fausse alors et Furina. Mais j'aime bien dire Fausse alors. Parce que j'aime bien appuyer sur le CCD, quoi. Ça, j'aime bien.
That would be so... normal. You know, like you.
Okay. As for expenses this month...
Hey, Navia, what are you...
Oh, nothing. It was just a meal, you know? Nothing the
Oh
Spina
non,
di
oh
Rosula
non.
can't cover.
En fait, non, elle est... Oh non, en fait, la Spina d'Orusula est un flop. C'est pas une mafia toute puissante et riche. Elle faisait juste genre, en fait, qu'il y avait du fric, mais non.
Let's get ready to try to meet the Hydro Archon again.
So this is goodbye, huh? Well, if you do encounter any other trouble in Fontaine, you're always welcome to contact the Spina di Rosula. I'll give your request
Spina
the
di
highest
Rosula.
priority. In any case, I wish you smooth sailing. I'll see you again, partner.
See ya!
Au revoir, Navia. Bon, bah, elle nous a bien aidé quand même. Et c'est parti. Acte 2, alors que la bourrine tombe sans raison. Merde, la bourrine? Wait. La bourrine. Rappelez-moi un petit peu vite fait la bourrine, ce que c'est. La bourrine? Je vois souvent le mot, mais merde, j'ai oublié là. J'ai un trou. Bourrine, petite pluie. Ok, d'accord. Ok, d'accord. Donc, de retour dans l'opéra. Donc, on va à nouveau refaire un acte. Ok. Bah, let's go. Est-ce qu'on va encore s'envoyer... Est-ce qu'il y a encore la voix qui va nous dire Vacher ou pas? Des pigeons?
There aren't many people around anymore. Looks like that boat we took to Araneas might have been the last one.
Vacher.
Vacher.
Looks like we're back here again. Huh? Traveler? Are you hearing voices again? Ugh. That's kinda spooky. Are you sure we don't want to come back in the morning?
Vacher? Vacher.
Hey, why are you still walking towards
Je ressens des émotions intenses de colère.
Huh? Hang on. Paimon can kinda hear a voice. It's calling for Vacher, right?
Vacher, Vacher. Comme la princesse.
Traveler? Stop walking! Come on, wake up!
Oh. Oh, Océanide. Où sommes-nous?
Vacher, are you my dear Vacher?
Je ne suis pas Vacher.
No, wait. You seem to be someone else. Do you know Vacher?
Non, je ne connais pas Vacher.
Where my love is.
Ah, ok, d'accord, c'est son amant. Bah, je ne connais pas ce monsieur.
Wait. Who am I? I'm very sorry. I fear I do not know. My memories feel like they have been washed away like a flood. So many fragments dissolved amidst the tide, never to be recovered. How much have I lost? How many things that I once held dear while on land have I since forgotten?
N'empêche, les choix de dialogue. Vous étiez humaine. Enfin, en fait, c'est bon. Ça, ils ont pas évolué là-dessus, Genshin, Miyoyo. Hein. C'est bon, c'est juste mettez-nous au moins, ou alors faites dire la voice line à Illumine, quoi. Ne faites pas genre qu'il y a un choix quelconque. Bon, vous étiez humaine.
Yes, that is what I was once. But now, I am but
donc elle a perdu son enveloppe charnelle. Ok. Elle est dans la fontaine. Hein.
I only vaguely remember being covered in light blue water.
Ah.
It all grew dim.
Donc elle s'est fait asperger par l'eau bizarre.
I also remember going to many places. I loved adventure. No matter where I went, Vacher would go with me.
Mais qui est ce Vacher?
I knew how dearly he loved me. But now, we can no longer go back. No. Our reunion no longer has any meaning. There is no way for us to create any new.
Et du coup, qu'est-ce que tu vas faire? Tu vas rester comme ça pendant l'éternité dans un espace complètement bleu? Tu vas devenir fou, folle.
So let it lie forgotten beneath the waters. If you meet Vacher, tell him not to look for me. Perhaps that is so. As I was submerged in the waters, losing consciousness, I saw Vacher above the surface.
D'accord. Ah non, elle peut encore nager du coup. Et se déplacer. Du coup, Vacher existe encore. Ça veut dire que Vacher a été témoin de votre dissolution. Et si Vacher avait justement dissous l'Océanide parce qu'il avait une maîtresse et qu'il ne savait plus comment se débarrasser de son épouse.
Is that what you call it? Dissolving. If anything, I consider it a form of release. It was a state of neither fear nor frenzy, with only an endless peace, like the water's still surface. I could also liken it to being a thirsty person who drinks water for the first time, and only then sees how they have lived for so long in a world of endless want.
On dirait qu'après la dissolution, un certain degré de conscience subsiste malgré tout. Donc, elle garde un peu son âme telle qu'elle était avant, mais elle perd des souvenirs, elle perd pas mal de choses, quoi. Mais elle se souvient du coup d'un souvenir important qui est Vacher et un peu qui elle était. Enfin, elle oublie peu à peu qui elle était, mais on va dire que sa nature ne change pas.
I think I hear your companion.
Ah.
It's time for you to
J'avoue
go.
combien de temps c'est écoulé? Ça, je suis curieux. Imagine, c'est comme Interstellar, genre, oh mon dieu, 20 ans.
Farewell then. I am glad that you were able
vois Paimon
to
toute
sense
vieille,
my
hein.
presence. Remember, if you see Vacher, tell him not to seek me out any longer.
Et si Neuvillette Vacher? Oula, qu'est-ce qui se passe? Cutscene? What? Mais qu'est-ce qui... Mais... Les automates. Mais c'est une vraie guerre.
Demoiselle, look out!
Demoiselle. Oh la vieille épée dégueu, l'épée rouillée.
Dear God, it's a whole army of Gardamex.
Clorinde. Avec ou contre nous? Avec. La goutte. La championne duelliste.
Quick, now's our chance.
Oh là là. Elle s'en bat les couilles. Ouh. C'est d'où la musique? Oh là là. L'assist. Putain, j'en ai tué, je sais pas, genre 40 elle toute seule, elle 2. Bah quelle entrée, en tout cas directement on est dans l'action là, ils ont pas perdu du temps.
I should thank you for lending us your sword there, Clorinde. But before I do so, could you explain how you managed to show up here?
Déjà combien de temps s'est déroulé? Pourquoi Navia est là alors qu'elle était en train d'arrondir les fins de mois pour payer la bouffe de l'hôtel? Qu'est-ce qui s'est passé?
I followed you. It seemed to me that danger has followed you more closely as of late.
I believe that following someone without their knowledge is actually called stalking, is it not?
Mr. Callus's last
La
wish was
stalker.
for me to ensure your
Stalkeuse.
safety, and I will not betray his trust. He would do the same.
Oh, donc Callas, je suppose que c'était l'ancien propriétaire ou l'ancien dirigeant de la Spina di Rosula, potentiellement l'oncle, le père de Navia. Mais du coup, Clorinde avait un respect, un engagement envers lui.
Do not speak of my father.
C'est bien le père de Navia.
Sorry, demoiselle. I was not strong enough.
Thank you for your aid, Miss Clorinde, but do keep an eye out for your manner of speech. I believe we all wish to avoid unnecessary emotional harm.
Sorry, I did not consider your feelings.
Whatever. What else do you know? How did you come to the conclusion that I'd be in grave danger?
I doubt I know much more than you, but I believe that the mastermind behind the serial disappearances is very powerful. Your performance tonight will almost certainly attract their attention.
I'm sure they've known about me. To be honest, I'm shocked it's taken them this long
Donc la
to
quête va
act
se
against
centrer
me.
autour des deux.
And what about these Gardamex? I thought only those associated with a Maison Gardiennage could control them.
Maison Gardiennage. Merci Winter.
None of these mecha have serial numbers. I was sure to check a moment ago. They are not the ones used by the authorities to enforce the law. I can only conclude that some powerful or wealthy party must have obtained them via illegal means, deploying them as a
C'est la même
private
personne
force of
qui
sorts.
utilise les fioles
What?
d'eau.
Your point being that they're out of Spina di Rosula's league then?
Yes. Be careful, and do not act rashly.
I will continue investigating no matter what. We will bring the truth to light. That's my father's true last wish.
D'accord, donc il avait pour peut-être but de démasquer les coupables derrière des actions, une organisation frauduleuse à Fontaine.
Regardless, thank you for your help today, Clorinde.
Et Navia a pris la relève.
If you get any ideas, tell me first.
I do not think that they'll strike again anytime soon. So I shall stop following you.
Après, j'avoue qu'avoir
I
attaqué
suppose that's
Navia
the best
devant
news we've
l'opéra,
got today.
pas très smart quoi.
I believe that Miss Clorinde was being sincere with you.
I know, I just... She's...
Après tout, elle a quoi? Qu'est-ce qui vient de se passer? Non, pas qui c'était, on sait qui c'est, normalement on l'a vu normalement, mais qu'est-ce qui vient de se passer? Explique-nous pourquoi quand je me suis réveillé, il y avait tout ce brouhaha, ce bazar.
Goodness! unconscious, and Navia and her gang saved us. Oh, and there was that champion duelist named Clorinde who came out to save us too. We got lucky there. Paimon probably couldn't have fought them off otherwise.
Je compte parmi les combattants, Paimon. Après, du soutien moral, hein, c'est comme les bardes dans les RPG et autres, il en faut, hein, il en faut. Il faut des personnages qui sont derrière le front et qui soutiennent moralement et oralement les gens.
Oh, come now. Forget all that polite talk. That wasn't really a farewell meal we had back there. As such, we're still partners. There's no need to thank me.
It will take 50 years for me to match Demoiselle's magnanimity.
If it were me, I would have joined the Spina di Rosula on account of her goodwill long ago.
All right, you two.
Actually, Navia, how did you know that we were in danger? You sure did show up in
Est-ce
the nick
que
of time.
Navia nous a aussi stalké?
Well, to be honest, you're the one who tipped us off, Paimon.
Huh? Really? Paimon contributed somehow?
Yes, all thanks to you grabbing my drink by mistake.
Comment ça?
How
Le
did
Fontaine?
that help?
After we parted ways, I was on the way back to one of our bases when I suddenly thought of what you said. That the Fanta tasted kind of salty and icky.
Attends, quelqu'un essaie de droguer Paimon? Attendez.
Fanta only comes in sweet flavors.
Ah.
So how could it have tasted salty? The color of the drink, if I recall, had also been a bit off.
Donc on a vraiment essayé de droguer Paimon. Hein.
Spiked with water from the primordial sea?
Ah. Ils ont voulu transformer Paimon?
Yes. So if you hadn't drunk that cup from
Ah, Navia se serait transformée, ouais.
Spina di Rosula is preparing the grandest of awards for you as we speak for saving.
Huh. Really?
Heureusement que nous ne sommes pas fontainoises.
I sent people to Hotel de Boer to investigate, but whoever did this left no trace at all.
Donc oui,
That's
c'est
when I figured
donc
out that you
Coel
might
n'est
be in
évidemment
danger
pas le
and hurried here as
mastermind
quickly as I
qui
could.
tire toutes les ficelles, etc. quoi.
Why would they go after us too? All we did was defend Linny in court and help clear his name.
Well, you did foil a plan that they were probably pretty proud of, and almost got their name in the process. Speaking of which, did anything strange happen when you drank the primordial seawater?
Well, it can't be coincidence that
Bah,
the traveler
Vacher, mais est-ce que
just
ça...
now. She said that she heard that voice calling for Vacher again. Oh, and this time Paimon heard it too, but it was real faint. Does this situation have to do with the primordial seawater then?
Linette a dit que c'était lié à une forte sensibilité à l'élément hydro.
Does that mean the primordial seawater raises someone's sensitivity to hydro when it's used on people who are not from Fontaine?
That doesn't sound like too much of a bad thing, to be honest.
New intel? While you were out cold?
Ouais.
Well, let's hear it, shall
La voix de
we?
la fontaine était celle d'une des jeunes femmes disparues.
Oh, that is important.
Ok, donc on a tout voiture
Vacher.
raconter là.
That name doesn't ring a bell. I suppose he hasn't stepped forward as a
Bon,
witness
Vacher
in court
semble
lately.
être
Since
bah,
he saw that young woman
une pièce
dissolve, he was at
centrale dans
least
tout
at
ce
the
mystère.
crime scene. But he never gave testimony or any information regarding people dissolving in the
Alors,
primordial
on devrait
seawater.
le trouver. Après, on devrait le trouver,
Could
mais
he have been threatened?
quand est-ce que du coup Vacher, enfin, est-ce qu'il est encore en vie? Parce que il me semble que la série Disparition des jeunes filles, ça a commencé depuis des années. Donc ça peut dater de fou si c'est la une des premières. Donc Vacher peut être un vieillard.
Yes, thank you. This is very important information indeed. We will Oh, you mean you'll help us investigate?
Ok, donc on se débarrasse pas encore de Navia.
Say that our
On reste
farewell
avec elle.
meal didn't really count. That means we're still partners, right? And besides, we're in this now whether we like it or not. You're not gonna let those people who targeted us get off the hook so
Ils vont
easily,
payer pour
are
ça.
you, traveler?
Demoiselle, do try not to look quite so pleased. You are the face of Spina di Rosula, after all.
You talk too much. Well, in that case, let's head back to one of our bases.
Oh, la
shall we?
base,
I'll
ok.
arrange accommodations for you. We also have some plans to go over.
Et l'entretien
and
avec
hopefully we can
Furina,
deepen our
sinon?
bonds as partners.
Non.
But we'll take that one step at a time, I guess.
Bon, après,
Don't worry, you
vu
two.
qu'on nous
With us
menace,
around, our base is definitely
faut
secure.
quand même qu'on s'occupe des gens qui essaient de nous tuer. Ça, c'est sûr. Oh, j'ai eu un succès, j'ai même pas compris ce que c'était. Rendez-vous à la base de la Spina di Rosula. Spina di Rosula, ouais, la base. Donc on va aller se taper là-bas, on va passer par le quartier lyonnais. Hop. Ah non, on passe pas par le quartier lyonnais, on passe par là, ok, très bien. Je suis juste du coup la trace dorée, ok c'est ici, donc c'est là-bas la base j'imagine.
It's right up ahead, but let's make sure we weren't followed first.
I've been keeping watch, Demoiselle. I haven't spotted anyone suspicious thus far.
Huh, very good. But let's not let our guard down for now.
I shall find rooms for our respected guests.
Thank you, Malus. Now, let's continue, traveler.
Ok, on te suit. Rendez-vous au logement préparé par Navia. Ok, donc t'es dans les égouts. Ah ouais, la spinade d'Irosula, c'est plus que c'était, hein. N'est clairement plus que c'était. Alors. Normalement j'ai le TP mais on y va quand même. Parce que je suis déjà allé dans les égouts tout à l'heure, enfin au début de Fontaine. Il y a une semaine. Mais bon. Je me disais que ça servait à quelque chose. Ça pouvait pas être là au hasard. Parce qu'il n'y a pas de grande interaction dans les égouts. Mais donc c'est ok, c'est en rapport avec Navia je suppose. Ok. C'est par là. Parler à Mélus. Il est là. Là. Attends, par contre, j'avais pas vu ça. Attends, pour le coup, je n'avais. Quand je suis allé dans les égouts, j'avais pas vu ça. What? Pourtant, j'ai pris le TP. Ok.
So, this is your base? It's not...
Your accommodations have been arranged. Under the present circumstances, I can confidently say it's the best we have.
Well, our funds have been
voilà.
a little tight lately. After all, we don't allow illegal or unethical profiteering. In fact, our funds often come from citizenry who support us.
Seems like it's tough times for everyone.
To be honest, our financial situation was a lot better back when my father was in charge a few years.
Your father... He was the previous boss of Spina di Rosula, right?
Comment est-il?
How did he...
Parce qu'il en savait trop.
Mademoiselle, if you'll allow me to explain.
No. I'll explain it myself. I suppose I couldn't run from this topic forever. And, as partners, this is something I hope they can understand. My father's name is Callus. Yes, the same one they call Callus the Unfaithful in the streets. 3 years ago,
Callus?
he was accused of murdering his own friend. But he chose a duel to defend his honor, instead of standing trial. He died in the duelist's ring.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I do not believe my father was a murderer. I'm sure he was set up. At the time, I believed that if he only stood trial and was duly investigated, but strangely, he not only requested the duel himself, but rumor has it that even after being seriously injured, to the point where he could be deemed as having lost the duel,
Déterminé à mourir dans
he
l'arène.
refused to surrender. 3 years later, I still don't understand why he did that. How could he protect his honor if he's dead? If anything, he gave up his chance to defend himself.
C'est étrange.
The closest piece of info I have is that my father had been investigating the serial disappearances
voilà, il en
case
savait
at
trop.
the time of his death.
Et vu que ça remonte dans la haute société, il a mis son nez là où il ne fallait pas, malheureusement.
That's right. I've also tried to investigate the murder my father was implicated in. But I haven't found a single new clue in my countless reviews of the investigation records. However, I believe that if the murder case is
Tout est
related
lié,
to
il y a
those
un
behind
seul
the
grand méchant,
disappearances,
mais tout est lié, c'est sûr.
I must know what really happened. Was my father coerced? Framed? Even if he really did kill his friend? If only he'd been more open with me when he was still alive. He even hid the fact that my mother died due to complications when giving birth to me. And now, here I am investigating his death.
Recherchez la vérité pour votre famille.
You really are a handful, aren't you, Pop?
Demoiselle, please, if there is anything I can do,
I also will never believe that Master Callus murdered anyone. Master Callus did so much good in life, yet all it took was
Callus,
one
le
murder
déloyal.
case for him to be dubbed Callus the Unfaithful. Even our supporters decreased greatly due to that incident, hence our strained finances at present.
Plus personne leur fait confiance, ouais.
Callus was such a good man. Wouldn't people at least be a little suspicious when he was accused?
No. Perhaps people just revel in that
Ah bah
kind of
l'opinion
drama.
des gens change très vite, ça c'est
It's
sûr et
not
certain.
something exclusive to people from Fontaine, really.
Un petit drama et c'est fini. Hein.
Everyone's like that. People love watching the evil
Le drama
turn
soit
over a
orchestré
new
ou pas,
leaf,
mais
but they also enjoy watching good people
logique.
fall into an abyss from one slip-up just as much.
But how could... never mind. If Callus was really falsely accused, we have to find the truth.
There is one other thing.
Oh.
Master Callus's opponent in the duel was Ms. Clorinde.
Ah, intéressant.
Well, then, isn't that as good as saying that she was the one who killed him? Yeah, that's not the sort of thing that you can just let go and move on from.
Ms. Clorinde has always placed great emphasis on the honorable nature of the duel. If her opponent doesn't yield, she will not stop either.
Elle avait pas le choix.
She
Quoi.
knew Master Callus beforehand and greatly
Elle devait respecter
respected
son
him,
code d'honneur,
but
quoi.
seeing how he was resolute in the arena, there was only ever one choice she could have.
It's not that I don't understand her at all, but I just can't deal with this yet.
Don't worry, Navia. Paimon knows how you feel.
Afterward, Ms. Clorinde told us that at the start of the duel,
Donc Callus a quand même du
Callus
coup dit ses
requested
dernières
that she
volontés à
ensure
Clorinde.
Demoiselle Navia's safety.
Il avait l'intention de mourir pendant ce duel. Ah, à tous les coups, il y avait un truc du genre, faut que tu meurs maintenant, sinon on s'en prend à ta famille et tout. Ça va être ça, hein.
Yes, that is our understanding as well.
Oh, Papa. What madness drove you to ask the person who killed you to take care of me? All right, anyway. That's the information I wanted to share with you.
Ne vous en faites pas, je comprends à quel
Even
point
if
c'est
it
important
did
pour
sound
vous.
like... thanks. You two should go and rest. This was quite a day after all.
Yeah. Paimon's feet.
Please, relax and get some sleep. We will...
Ok. Très bien. Reposez-vous dans votre chambre. Se reposer. Passez une nuit paisible sous la protection de la spinade Rosula.
Paimon slept so well. Huh? Navia? Where did the other two go?
I sent them back to Poisson. It's
Poisson.
Spina de Rosula's place of origin, and where we have our headquarters.
Paimon gets the feeling that you're just trying to get them off your back. But never mind that. When did you get back?
Were you? No, I just returned after going out for a while.
Ah,
I did
l'enquêter
some
sur Vacher.
investigating yesterday regarding the name Vacher.
Wait, so you didn't sleep at all?
How could I after having such critical new evidence appear?
Guess Paimon wasn't speaking for everyone just now, huh?
Unfortunately, this name seems to have been wiped from existence. I suspect that those behind this have already taken steps to hinder an investigation from this angle. But
Ouais,
that
j'ai essayé de
does
tout...
prove that this Vacher person
effacer.
is a key witness in the incident.
Does that mean we're too late, though?
No, there is one ray of hope. One place in Fontaine
un endroit
that
au
they
Fontaine,
would
ils
find
ne sont jamais à faire
almost
quoi que ce soit.
impossible to threaten. And that is the archives
Oh.
kept by Chief Justice
La
Neuvillette.
salle des archives
A
du
place where
jeu
detailed
suprême de
files
Neuvillette.
on all the cases in recent years are kept. If the Ocean that you met is one of the young women who went missing recently, we should
Ouais.
be able to find some
Ok.
related information there.
Donc on va s'infiltrer dans le bureau de Neuvillette.
maintains an archive of case files?
Neuvillette.
Guess that's the hard-working Chief Justice for you. In that case, let's go talk to him, shall we?
Hein?
Aren't you coming along, Navia?
No, it's nothing. Let's go see the Honorable Chief Justice.
Let's go. On va voir le GOAT. On va voir le GOAT. C'est parti. Où est-il? Bon, il est pas dans les égouts, j'imagine, hein? Lui, il est tout en haut, lui, évidemment.
The palais is right up ahead. Come on.
Le palais. Parti. Le palais Mermonia. Trame égoût ou palais, exactement. Changement d'ambiance. Hein. Allez, allons le voir. Hein.
Please state your business here. The Chief Justice is presently occupied with official matters.
Logique en vrai que c'est occupé.
This place does look pretty heavily guarded.
Hey, don't you recognize us?
Huh? Who are you?
Ah,
Just to be clear,
non, c'est pas celle qui était dans la sécurité
who you
à l'opéra.
are or who you might be related to, our rules make no exceptions.
See? They've got great discipline, too.
Yep, Paimon can tell. If you're here just to crack jokes, I can point you towards the exit.
No. What I meant to say is, shouldn't you remember us from a few days ago? We were at the trial of the
Ah, c'est pas
great
la même.
magician Lenny.
Après, tous les Mélusines se ressemblent. Hein.
Yes,
Écoutez,
I
voilà,
remember.
c'est comme ça.
I
Hein.
read about it in the Steambird.
Ils se ressemblent tous. Hein.
You must be Lenny's attorneys. It's all coming back to me now.
We're here today to report and archive some information on a follow-up case.
Huh. Is that even a thing?
Of course. Don't worry. We're here on official business. You can trust us.
All right then, I'll let you through. The Chief Justice is just inside.
Ah, thanks so much.
Let's go. Bon, ça va, c'était plutôt facile d'avoir un entretien avec lui. Frapper à la porte. Toc toc toc.
Please come in.
OMG. J'arrive, Neuvillette. RP Walk. Ah ouais, la pièce est gigantesque. Hein.
Sorry to barge in, Monsieur Neuvillette. We only like to get in because we didn't know any other way.
Son bureau fait la taille d'un habitat en fait pour
certains.
C'est gigantesque.
So you're not mad at us?
We're looking for a man called Vacher. He may have been an eyewitness in the serial disappearances case. If we can find him, we may be able to unearth some key information on the case.
Ah, I see. In that case, please wait here a moment while I browse through the files.
Contrôle F. Calas. Vacher.
Who knew that Neuvillette would be so easy to talk to?
Alors, ça prend un peu plus de temps que prévu. Ok.
Unfortunately,
Oh putain, le flop. Y'a
I'm
rien.
quite certain that no one by the name of Vacher has been involved in any case, criminal or civil, in the past several years. There are no records of him either in the files or in my memory.
Dans sa mémoire, hein. Merci Nexty pour les 30 mois. Yo. Bon, retour à la case départ. Hein.
Traveler, what if it was really just a dream?
Is that so? All right then. Thank you so much, Monsieur Neuvillette.
Monsieur
We'll take our
Neuvillette.
leave now.
Ils disent pas souvent monsieur.
Ahem.
Bon, bah, petit flop, hein, malheureusement. Attends, peut-être qu'il va nous dire un truc. Hein. Mais avant de
Miss
partir.
Navia, I can understand how you feel. Your father, Callus, was a truly exceptional man.
And what are you trying to say, Monsieur Neuvillette? Are you trying to console me? Extend your sympathy? Or just express some tendril of regret?
Là, t'as de la
You
rancune.
are
Hein.
not trying to do any of that. I can hear it in your voice. There's no emotion behind your words. You only said those things because you felt like you should.
Oh.
It's just like last time. After my father took his place in the duelist ring, I pushed through the guards to talk to you as
Aïe,
the
aïe,
last
aïe.
resort. You even told me then that you thought there was something fishy with the case, yet you still allowed the duel to go ahead. In your eyes, the value of a human life is nothing compared to those cold laws you hold so dear. If you
La loi avant
truly
tout, la
regret my
justice.
father's death, then why
Ah non.
didn't you call a stop to the duel?
Justement. La loi avant tout. Et oh, bah, elle pleure, merde. La loi avant tout, mais pas la justice, justement. Bah, la pauvre. Bon, bah. La pauvre Navia. Voilà, en plus, Paimon qui est toute triste en fond là.
Why didn't you give me the power to stop him from throwing his life away? Why did you just let him die? Despised and hated by all. Everything was hanging on a thread at that moment. Just the tiniest effort could have changed everything. There are still so many things I never got to tell him. So many questions he still owes me answers to. If you really have no heart, then just look me in the eyes. I, Navia, will show you the true meaning of regret.
I'm sorry, Miss.
J'aime bien la musique. J'aime bien la musique en plus. Hein.
You and my father are truly alike. You keep all kinds of things in your heart and never say a word to anyone.
Oh.
It's not so much that you can't feel, but that you would never express anything. Oh well. In any case, everyone already knows full well the apathy of the Chief Justice. My apologies for taking my emotions out on you, Monsieur Chief Justice. Let's go, Traveler and Paimon.
Elle a dit Monsieur Chief Justice. Bon bah Neuvillette s'en est pris plein la gueule, plein la tronche. Mais on a eu aucune info sur Vacher quoi.
Navia, are you okay?
I'm fine. Rain.
Il pleut.
It's raining.
You're right. Wasn't it still sunny when we went into the building? And there shouldn't be any active trials today.
Et vous savez ce qu'avait dit la prophétie. Quand il pleut, c'est que le dragon pleure. Et oui. Et donc voilà, si le dragon pleure, bien c'est peut-être que le juge pleure lui-même.
Now that I think of it, on the day my father was convicted of murder,
mais s'exprime différemment bien sûr. Il va pas le montrer ça comme ça mais. Il pleuvait aussi le jour il pleuvait aussi le jour où mon père est mort. C'est que c'est la manière dont Neuvillette a exprimé sa tristesse quoi. Mais pas de manière physique. Enfin si. Mais c'est différent quoi.
What is it? Did you think of something?
Yeah, he was outside. It was uncovered and the rain could fall there. Why? Do you think the rain could have affected the crime scene? That thought has occurred to us before. We've even expanded the search area to try to account for that, but didn't find anything of value.
Pendant, il y a une chose que vous ignorez à l'époque.
Oh? Wait. You don't mean...
So you're saying that the true murderer could have been turned into water and then got washed away with the rain?
Salaud.
Yeah. And if that's what had happened, then no one would have believed
Ah, c'est sûr. C'est sûr que on me dit aux autorités, même si je suis le plus gentil des personnes et qu'on me dit et que je dis non, le coupable s'est transformé en eau et s'est enfui. Bon, on va me prendre pour un con. On va même me placer en asile.
I really think I found a true genius for a partner.
En même temps, c'est cheaté, hein. C'est complètement OP. Pour n'importe quel crime, pouvoir se transformer en eau, c'est complètement fumé pour n'importe quoi.
Alright, let's go to Poisson. With this new lead in mind,
let's go to Poisson.
Get to the bottom of my father's case for sure.
Yeah, we're gonna make progress for sure this time.
Do you want to go with me now, or do you want to head over by yourself later?
Allons-y, il faut battre le fer tant qu'il est chaud.
Great, let's go.
Oh non, on va pas, on y va maintenant. Ah, c'est pour nous dire si on veut faire autre chose, si on va pas directement faire la suite, ok. Hein? What? C'est ici, Poisson? Ah! Panorama, un TP. Attends, mais je suis sur la map là. Ah, c'est ici, d'accord. Ah bah ça je me souviens des images dans le trailer. Ok. Par contre... Ah non, j'ai rien dit.
Whoa.
Un gros bateau.
What a huge ship.
There's no need to be so surprised.
Ah, c'est le quartier
While it may
général.
look like a ship, it's my father was
Le
the
quartier
one who
général de la
asked for it
Spina
to
di
be built
Rosula.
like this. Perhaps our taste in exterior design is the only thing we occasionally had in common. A gigantic and glamorous ship embodies discovery, opportunity, ambition, and conquest. It symbolizes Spina di Rosula's bright and limitless future.
Si tu veux.
And Paimon thought you were bluffing when you said Spina di Rosula had a glorious past. Paimon was confused why a group with such a history would live in the sewers. But now that Paimon has seen this ship for herself, she's been convinced.
Well, Poisson is where Spina di Rosula began, after all. It's our main base, our home.
Ok. Oula, c'est quoi ce plan sur ce monsieur là? Je disais donc que la tête de Navia qui pleure fera une miniature parfaite. Hein, si je mets la VOD sur YouTube. Monatiello. Oh, un dogo. Alors attendez, c'est par là. Dans le bateau. Oh, ah, grimper par là. Bonjour. Bonjour ou bonsoir, quelle heure est-il d'ailleurs? Minuit, eh ben. Bonsoir alors, bonsoir. Oh, Mélus.
Melus, we're back.
Mélus.
Ouais.
Merci de reflamme.
Apologies for the wait, demoiselle, and our most important partners. You said before that you still had some business at the court. What brings you back to Poisson so quickly?
About that. It's because my partner here reminded me of something really important. You see, what if my father's case had something to do with water from the primordial sea? You still remember, right, Melus? On that night, it was raining?
Yes, the case was quite similar to that of Mr. Linney's.
Could you tell us a bit more about what happened before?
Yeah, of course. Many years ago,
Une chose
something
mais
called synth began to gain popularity in Poisson. At a glance, it was a kind of drink that could excite your mood and produce many pleasant hallucinations.
De la drogue, oui, tu peux le dire. C'était une drogue, ok. Qu'il y avait une drogue populaire à Poisson, ok.
Wait! Didn't that guard guy who turned into water also mention that the primordial water could be used?
Yes, he did. Considering what we know now, it's almost certain that synth is created using water from the primordial sea. If you drink synth for an extended amount of time, you'll suffer many side effects, such as losing the ability to focus or control your emotions. And if you were to stop drinking it completely, you'll experience flashes of paranoia and anxiety while
Genshin qui
lacking
dénonce
energy
la
to do
drogue.
anything. It's an extremely dangerous substance. As he oversaw Poisson, my father was compelled to put a stop to synth abuse and called for a complete ban of it.
Boss's uncompromising attitude incurred the synth vendor's
Logique,
wrath.
il y en a qui se faisaient
But no matter how much they
des couilles en or avec
threatened or
le synth,
bribed him,
le synth.
he refused to yield. Not only that,
Ça
Boss
fait
became
plein d'ennemis
determined
qui
to
voulaient
find the
son downfall.
mastermind behind the synth
La
operation
chute, évidemment.
and put an end to the problem once and for all.
Yes, but the enemy was very cunning. So he could never get anything out of the dealers, all of whom only sold the stuff and weren't privy to the rest of the operation. Recognizing that, my father decided to contact the dealers in secret and cultivate personal relationships with them. The man's name was Jacques. He felt greatly ashamed about his work after seeing many families destroyed by synth abuse.
Jacques.
That night, my father hosted a banquet at his countryside estate. He planned to meet up and exchange information with Jacques over some food. But then, we heard two gunshots
deux coups de feu dans
from
le
the
jardin,
courtyard.
d'un coup de feu.
We raced to the scene and found my father,
Oh.
still holding a gun, and Jacques, who was already dead on the ground.
Donc Kala s'était accusé pour le meurtre de Jacques. Non, c'est pas Jacques, c'est Jacques. Jacques, pas Jacques. C'est très différent.
How did that happen? Aren't they on the same side?
sounds just like Lenny's case, doesn't it? In both cases, the culprit seemed obvious, but neither appeared to have any motive at
Mon
all.
grand-père s'appelle Jacques.
Looking back on it, though, I now believe the most important clue was something we all overlooked at the time. There were pieces of clothing left at the scene.
Ah, des vêtements abandonnés. Et oui, forcément. Du coup, vêtements abandonnés, donc... ça explique.
Precisely. It's all thanks to you that I made the connection now. Back then, we all just thought they were some costumes that Jacques used to disguise himself at the banquet. But, considering it now, it's almost certain that they belong to a third person at the scene. With one extra person, we'll also need to reconsider why the 2 shots were fired.
Cette troisième personne était peut-être impliquée?
You're right. We still don't know what happened. But my intuition tells me that we're on the right track to figuring it all out.
Ouais.
Jacques was an empathetic man who was infinitely remorseful for his past actions. I think this third person is probably the key to the full truth.
C'est donc Vacher.
On that note, however, even though this will not please you, demoiselle, as our opponent is insidious and cruel. They are extremely difficult to deal with, and Boss has already lost his life trying to bring them to justice. Even though Spina de Rosula has lost most of its former glory, Poisson has welcomed a new time of peace, and we have been allowed to live out our lives.
C'est vrai, ça vaut vraiment le coup.
Est-ce
que ça vaut réellement le coup? Pour la justice, peut-être même la vengeance. Et de prendre le risque de mettre un terme à cette vie paisible à Poisson. En tout cas, ce qu'il en reste. Hein.
If that's indeed what he wished for, then he should have told me that himself. Was I not the closest person to him? And yet, I was the one most kept in the dark.
Si tu en savais trop, tu serais morte aussi. Ils auraient voulu ton silence.
What was the point of him dying without sharing any of the secrets he knew? Did he manage to protect anything in the synth? Is still here. Callus the Unfaithful is still his epithet. And Spina di Rosula is barely getting by.
Mais qui est encore en vie.
Nothing has changed. Did he think I'd just accept his meaningless death? And live out my life just as meaninglessly? I've never accepted that. Ever. Not since that day, and certainly not now. I want to find out the real answer for everyone's sake.
Après, je comprends qu'elle avait découvert la vérité, c'est logique.
For the victims, and for myself.
Navia.
This is indeed the best moment to act. Your partner appears to be quite reliable.
Nous avons battu des divinités. C'est pas un dealer qui va nous faire peur, ok?
So you do know something else, Malus?
Yes, I do. In fact, even before that banquet, Boss already knew of the connection between Synth and the serial disappearances case. But what drove all the tensions to the boiling point was the revelation that you, demoiselle, had been selected as the next target to disappear.
What?
Boss also didn't tell you that
le coup de la maladie.
Had been diagnosed with a rare illness, and the serial disappearances case caused him great anxiety. 5 years was nowhere near enough time to resolve this long-standing conflict, but once he passed away, all the danger would pass on to you. Knowing all of this, he decided to use one final intimidation tactic before his death. But as long as you remain safe,
bah voilà, c'est ça. C'est bien ce que j'avais call. Bon, c'était évident que c'était ça, que c'était pour garder Navia sain et sauve. Donc de la laisser dans l'ombre, quoi.
Right, so nobody would be able to get off scot-free.
As we've seen, Boss's tactic has worked. Even though Boss has been gone for a long time, the other side has not tried to take Demoiselle's life.
Ah oui, mais on a quand même essayé de la droguer, vu qu'il y avait de l'eau salée dans le fond tas.
No, I don't believe it. He never appeared to look sick to me.
No father wants their daughter to see them weak and haggard, especially someone as proud as Boss. To him, dying in a duel and suffering lasting dishonor as the unfaithful were still far preferable than losing face in front of his daughter.
So he chose to die in silence, so that he could protect me.
I'm afraid you're not understanding this correctly, demoiselle.
Demoiselle.
What Boss wanted to hand to you was not a parasol, but a sword. If Boss's spirit could hear you telling me that you want to find the answer for the sake of everyone involved, I'm sure he'd be extremely proud.
That fool. Couldn't he have just given it to me straight? No. He might have set up everything precisely because
Deuxième fois qu'elle pleure, la
he
Navia.
never thought I'd be able to understand him. Is that the amount of confidence he had in me? And what if I was never able to make it to where I am now? Yeah. I suppose that's true. With the way he'd set things up, if I had wanted, I could have just lived out my life without a care in the world. But thankfully, he rarely talked to me about complex matters, and thus understood little of me as a person. Malus, what was the key evidence that he
Quel
shared
est
with
l'indice
you?
clé qu'il vous a transmis?
It's the location where synth is produced.
Oh, bah, c'est
Essentially,
un plutôt gros indice. Hein.
it's the enemy's headquarters.
Attention.
When he was threatening the enemy, Boss
Le
didn't
foyer de
share
l'âtre,
the
il va dire.
specifics of the incriminating
Imaginez, le
evidence
twist.
he found.
Les Nélinettes.
But if you want to use it
En
against
fait,
the
utiliser le
enemy,
trial pour donner de la drogue à
you'll
tous les
still have to
invités
take several things into
de
consideration.
l'opéra.
Why? If we know where the place is, can't we just go storming in?
You mustn't forget that we're fighting against a mysterious and dangerous organization.
Si c'est encore les fat, oui, je vais péter mon crâne. Hein.
There's no telling what might be lying in wait at their headquarters. We also have no idea what kind of evidence we may be able to find inside. But a single visit to their headquarters would be tantamount to a formal declaration of war. The worst case would be that we leave empty-handed, but also open ourselves up to full retaliation.
Then, in that case, why not work with the Fontaine authorities?
Bah, c'est corrompu.
You saw one of them dissolve during Mr. Linney's case.
Bah oui.
I have no idea just how thoroughly they may have been infiltrated.
Huh. That's true. Seems my father really had no choice. But things are different now. It should be a lot easier to prove the other side's guilt, now that we've connected Synth with the disappearances case.
You sound like you've put a lot of thought into this, Malus.
I am the butler, after all. I live but to serve the boss and Demoiselle's will. I've always been willing to take on any kind of risk for your sake. But considering my relative lack of ability, I've spent my time keeping secrets, performing basic investigations, and waiting for the right time to come.
Thank you for all of that, Malus. Have you discovered anything new in the past few years?
Let me think. One conclusion I came to was that the enemy must be quite familiar with Spina di Rosula.
Silver la taupe.
Or at least have an informant planted here.
Oh non.
When I announced orders to the organization's members on Demoiselle's behalf, I used to deliberately keep a few people in the dark and observe. If the vendors didn't change their plans, then the individuals informed of our orders must be innocent. If the vendors packed up and fled, however, then someone must have given them the news. After several rounds of testing and investigative tracing, I've narrowed the suspect list down to 3 people. The first is Florent, Spina di Rosula's senior advisor.
Huh? Florent?
Florent?
Yes, surprising, isn't it? Thanks to his position within Boss's innermost circle, he always has someone else like him too.
Marcel? Marcel et Florent. De la confrérie de Cabrière. Oncle Marcel et Florent.
It's a guild in Poisson. The boss helped it to grow to its current size and prominence. In the beginning, they were only reselling some daily goods, but now they're one of the richest guilds around, with a lot of business connections in this.
So, they're like a sister organization of Spina di Rosula?
Yes, you can say that. When we were fighting against the synth dealers, they provided us with plenty of support. It's a bit difficult to imagine someone using their own money.
The final suspect is Thierry,
Thierry.
The man responsible for coordinating information between Spina di Rosula
Thierry, Florent
and
et
the
Marcel.
guards. Although the guards mostly leave us to our own devices, there are still many activities we have to report to the local authorities. Since Thierry is always in the know about our current activities, he could theoretically always plan one step ahead.
Non. Comment on dirait Thierry en japonais? Comment ils l'ont prononcé en japonais, Thierry? Tilly? Juste Tilly?
I see. These are all people who I communicate with quite regularly. To think that the enemy we've been fighting against has been right next to me all along, among those I trust the most. It's almost too hard to believe.
If you want to investigate them, please take every precaution to not alert the quarry. Judging from our experience, the enemy is extremely cautious.
Of
D'ailleurs,
course.
il y a plus le pin.
And
Hein.
thank you, Malus. You've provided us with a lot of great information.
You're too kind, my lady. I'm just doing my duty. And before I forget, proving Boss's innocence would also mean clearing him of blame in Jacques' death. After that incident, Jacques' wife and daughter were taken into the Spina's care. If it might help, you could also pay them a visit.
Aw, thank you so much, Malus.
A new case awaits, my dear partner.
Let's go.
I hope we can work together to uncover the truth and end this case once and for all.
Waouh! Il y a 3 ans, lors d'une nuit pluvieuse, les convives du banquet ont entendu 2 coups de feu à l'extérieur de la maison. Lorsqu'ils sont arrivés sur les lieux, Calas avait un fusil à la main et Jacques avait été abattu. Sur la base de l'enquête menée à l'époque, il n'y avait aucune possibilité que quelqu'un d'autre ait pu commettre l'acte et s'échapper. Et Calas a donc été jugé coupable. Rendez visite à la famille de Jacques. C'est parti. Allons voir Jacques. Oups. Toc. La famille de Jacques.
It is settled, then. Please excuse me, and enjoy...
Thank you for arranging everything for us, Malus.
Excuse me, miss.
Coralie.
Do you need anything from us?
Hey, Navia's all quiet. This isn't like her at all.
I'm sorry that I only came to visit after all this time. After what happened, I did...
Ah, if it's about that, there's no need to apologize. After my husband died, Spina di Rosula sent us a lot of Mora and
Elle a la haine, hein,
support.
la petite
I
fille.
understood your guilt and apology to be genuine.
But aren't all of those things nothing compared to the loss of Jacques? I can understand the kind of pain that comes with losing a father so needlessly.
You don't understand at all.
Oh, elle est
I didn't know
déterminée.
how to face you, because I didn't know what I could possibly bring as a consolation gift. I know only the full truth could bring closure to you.
I'm sorry. I appreciate the sentiment, but you don't have to carry all that guilt. On the matter regarding my husband, my daughter and I have more or less found our answer already.
Would you mind sharing it with me? I really can't believe that my father could ever bring himself to shoot Jacques.
Cheveux de Jacques. Ça m'a fait marrer le cheveu de Jacques. Ok.
I always knew that my husband's money was earned through others' suffering. He told me countless times that if he could turn back the clock, he would never go into the synth business again. He had many regrets, and felt that he took the idea of providing for his family too literally. For the longest time, he thought Mora was everything. So when Mr. Callis came to him with a proposal, he accepted it almost immediately. He tried to be as careful as he could, but even so, he was still found out by the higher-ups.
They found out about his betrayal?
Papa didn't say that exactly, but Papa did tell me that I should never be ungrateful.
Before he left that day, he told me that he had no choice. It was only later that I realized it was his final farewell to the two of us.
Ça veut dire que quelqu'un a ordonné à Jacques d'assassiner Calas?
I don't know that for sure, but you could say that's the conclusion I eventually came to. Which is why I'm the one who should feel guilty. Callus had always taken great care of us, both when he was still alive and after he passed away. Even if he fired the shot that killed my husband, it was likely in self-defense.
But Mama, why is Papa still the bad guy if he did the right thing? Papa always wanted to be a good man, so why did he have to do a bad thing in the end?
Well, things aren't always as they seem. You still feel like your papa was a good man, right?
Yeah, Papa was a really good man.
Then you should hold on to that. If a good man had to do a bad thing, then he must have had his reasons. Regardless of whether he left you a parasol
Attention avec ce raisonnement quand même. Hein.
he must have done so.
Il n'est pas applicable pour tout le monde, hein, d'accord.
Oh.
Thank you for everything you've told me. I will definitely find the truth. The current state of things is not something I'm willing to just sit back and accept.
Thank you. I'm very grateful to hear this from you. Even though your personality is quite different from your father's, your determination when you speak is really similar.
You really think so? That's the first time anyone said that to me.
Ok. La famille de Jacques, je pense qu'il y a eu beaucoup de mal à... Alors, avec l'ordre de tuer Callas. Callas a-t-il encore agi... A-t-il agi en état de légitime défense? Y a-t-il encore quelque chose à découvrir? Parlez à Florent.
Are you okay, Navia?
I'm fine. Don't worry. Let's investigate the 3 suspects next. Florent should be nearby, and we should be able to find Thierry and Uncle Marcel in the city.
Greetings, boss. How may I be of assistance today?
I'm sure you've heard about what happened at the Opera House. Someone got turned into water right in front of us.
Yeah, I've heard. With something that dramatic, I'm sure journalists will milk it for all it's worth.
It also reminded me, on the day that the incident happened with my father, it was raining outside, and we found some clothes left at the scene.
Réaction à Florent?
After my partner here put the dots together for me, I feel like we should try to reopen his case. Can you do me a favor and try to recall what happened that night?
Let me think. Mr. Callus was
jouer,
feeling
buvait,
pretty
discutait
upbeat
avec
that day.
notre table.
After that, he
Okay.
told us that he wanted to go get some fresh air. So we let him go without thinking much of it.
Il est sorti et coup de feu.
My first reaction was that Mr. Callus's life was in danger. So I grabbed my holster and made a mad dash toward it. But when I got there,
Callas,
it was already
Jacques
too
mort,
late.
fusil dans la main.
Mr. Callus was standing over a dead body with a gun in his hands.
So you also remember 2 gunshots then?
2 coups de feu. Hein.
Indeed. The guard said that the first shot didn't hit anyone, while the second killed Jacques. But I've never really bought that explanation. Reason being, Mr. Callus had left his gun on the table.
Ah.
I even made sure to confirm that before running to the scene. But according to the guards, that doesn't mean he couldn't have had other guns on his person. About the clothes left at the scene that you mentioned, do you think there was a third person there who was turned into water?
Ouais, probable.
At least from our perspective, my father had no reason to kill. So he would also have no reason to bring an extra gun with him. The gun he was holding probably belonged to Jacques, or a third person on the scene.
C'est ça, ouais.
Yeah,
C'était
that
pas le
makes a
sien en
lot
tout
of
cas. C'était pas
sense.
son gun hein, à Callas.
So you're saying Mr. Callus ended up with the gun because he seized it from one of the other guys? But hold on. If that's what had happened, then why didn't he share the truth with any of us? He didn't even want to face the Oratrice machine. And did he lose all faith in the courts after seeing someone dissolve right in front of his eyes?
About that, Malus told me a thing or two. I'll tell you everything once the whole truth has been revealed.
Est-ce que c'est Florent? Je sais pas.
I understand.
Florent m'a l'air sincère.
Then I'll leave Mr. Callus's honor in your hands, boss. And if I may just say one more thing. Many people have laughed at me for still calling him Mr. Callus. But it was Mr. Callus's trust that allowed me to rise through the ranks of Spina di Rosula, no matter what others might say. He'll always be the man I respect the most.
Don't worry. I will definitely find the truth. You and all our other comrades at the Spina deserve to know the truth as well.
Florent, le conseiller de la semaine d'Arosula, a affirmé qu'il était très reconnaissant envers Calas pour sa gentillesse. Il était également présent au banquet du jour de l'affaire et peut apporter la preuve que Calas n'avait pas d'arme lorsqu'il est sorti. Ok. Donc il reste Thierry et Marcel. Attends, on va direct voir Thierry du coup. Ok. Allons voir Thierry.
Hey, Thierry! It's me!
Thierry.
Oh, now, what brings you here, Miss Navia?
Oh, so you've caught news of that already.
Oh, okay. Hey, I'm also a member of the guards, you know. The way you make it sound, people would think I was sent off to Poisson because I had done something wrong.
Are you sure there isn't a little bit of truth in that?
I mean, where I work, it's really up to me. Callis did a fantastic job running the town. Building Spina di Rasula from the ground up, and it would be next to impossible for me to find a similarly easy but high-paying job in the city. Anyway, enough chit-chat. Are these two friends of yours?
Yes. These two are my partners. What happened at the Opera House made us realize that Lenny's case and my father's may be related. We're trying to reinvestigate the details of my father's old case.
Ah, I get it. You think there might be more to the case now that we know people can be dissolved into water, right? If you want to go through the original files from your father's case,
nice.
I can help you look for them.
Elle a des
That'd
contacts.
be much appreciated. Thank you. Actually, I have another question. Do you have the authority to dispatch Gardamex?
Of course. Without them, I couldn't possibly handle Poisson on my own. Why do you ask? We definitely can't use them to forcefully get more evidence for your father's case.
Well, you see, just recently, we were attacked by a horde of unnumbered Gardamex in the city. So, if you hypothetically wanted to do something against me, all you would need to do is get rid of the mecha serial numbers and send them after me.
Then you think too highly of my abilities. If I had to make an analogy, when you order a dish, the chef will make it for you. You can ask the chef to cook, but not to massage your shoulders or carry your baggage. If you try to make unreasonable demands, the chef would just think you're out of your mind and ignore you completely. The same goes for me and my guard. Removing a serial number is also not as easy as you might think. There are a lot of complex steps to it, and it's almost impossible to keep it a secret. So I can promise you, those mecha were definitely private units. They're certainly not cheap. So, whoever their owner is must be super rich, powerful, or both. Now that you mention it, though, being in the synth business would
logique, oui. Donc ça, on le savait, hein, que c'était quelqu'un de riche et puissant à la tête de l'organisation.
Oh. Then you're officially in the clear, Thierry.
Oh, well, thank you for the vote of confidence, Navia. Jokes aside, I'll be staying in the city for a little while, so...
Ok. Du coup, Marcel, Thierry est responsable de la réconciliation entre la Spina et les gendarmes. Selon lui, seules les personnes suffisamment riches peuvent posséder un grand nombre de gendarmes de manière privée. Et donc, il reste Marcel. Comme par hasard. Où es-tu, Marcel? Par là.
Hello. How may I help you? I'm here to see Marcel. Could you please let him know? You can just say Navia's looking for him.
Sure. I will let him know right away.
Navia, hello. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm not as young as I used to be, so my legs are giving out a bit.
Oh, it's all right, Uncle Marcel. There's no need to stress. I just wanted to talk to you briefly about what happened in the Opera House. I'm sure you saw everything too, right?
Yes, I've never seen anything so strange.
Oh, you were at the Opera House too?
Ah? Bon, soit pas lui, mais après il a une tête de PNJ, donc...
I went there with Navia to see the magic show. Who knew it would turn into a whole murder mystery? I also witnessed your marvelous sleuthing work. Quite. To beat the Hydro Archon at her own game on her own turf.
Oh, Paimon doesn't want to become the talk of drunkards.
Apologies. It's just how Fontaine is as a nation. Everyone loves drama and theatrics.
Ah, Fontaine adore le drama, ça on le sait, on l'a vu.
You've also noticed that other thing, right? The fact that humans can dissolve in water?
Yes, I was reminded of your father's case right away. Is that what you're investigating now?
Exactly. I still don't have much solid proof, but I can sense that the other side has already begun to act.
Oh, and what makes you say that?
We were attacked on Araneus by some unnumbered Gardamex. And there was also an attempt to get me to drink water from the primordial sea. If not for the vigilance of my partner, I probably wouldn't even be here talking to you right now.
Oh, you're giving us too much credit.
Alas, it seems things are heating up again. The peace that Callus sought so dearly will soon become a thing of the past. But rest assured, Navia, Poisson will always remain a safe haven for you. If you're scared, you can always return there. If anyone dares to lay their hands on you there, the Confrérie of Cabrières will use its funds to the last Mora to bring them to justice.
Thank you, Uncle Marcel. But I don't intend to go into hiding.
Du coup, on a interrogé les trois suspects.
The iron's hot. Do you have any new thoughts on my father's case?
About that. Sorry, my age is catching up with me, so it'll take me a while to recall my memory. The Confrérie was responsible for that banquet, so I was out and about the whole time making sure things were running smoothly. I didn't even have the time to drink with the guests. Then I heard the sound of a gunshot, and the rest was history.
Marcel!
It's okay. No need to push yourself. We'll ask a
Sounds good. Just let all my wealth comes from Callus's
Marcel!
Support. I'll spend however much it takes to clear his name.
Vieux, donc il est là depuis longtemps, et il est là depuis longtemps du coup dans Fontaine. C'est le suspect numéro 1. Et puis, il a entendu... il a pas dit 2 coups de feu, je crois. Marcel est le président de la confrérie de Cabrières et était l'organisateur du banquet des années auparavant. La confrérie et la Spina des ont toujours entendu une relation de travail étroite. Bien que ses souvenirs des événements de l'affaire soient assez flous. Ouais. Marcel, bizarre Marcel, hein. Moi je dis bizarre Marcel.
We've talked to all three. None of them sounded particularly suspicious.
Florence est mort.
I suppose. Anyway.
Merde.
Even though we didn't make a breakthrough, let's.
But where should we start?
Le mobile de Jacques.
Ah, you're right. Flora mentioned that Callus probably only ended up with the gun because of circumstance.
According to Jacques' family members, he already told them that he had been discovered and that he had no choice before he left home that day. If I had to guess, he probably received an order from the synth boss to kill my father.
Jacques s'est rendu compte de la perversité du synth. Du coup, le gars l'a dit. Du coup, il a arrêté de travailler pour eux et le gars l'a dit non, tu vas buter Callas parce que sinon on bute ta famille, ta fille et ta femme. Donc Jacques a pas eu le choix.
So Jacques fired the first shot?
Si j'étais Jacques, je n'aurais pas tiré.
Oh, and why is that?
Et pourquoi? Qui dit qu'il aurait été sauf après avoir tué Callas? Comment s'assurer la sécurité de sa famille après avoir tué Callas?
Oh, that's a good point. Jacques probably already knew that he was just being used as a tool for murder. And once he had completed his mission,
qu'est-ce qu'a fait Jacques alors?
No more use to his boss.
Huh. So, what would make more sense from his perspective would be to turn his back on the order and seek protection from my father.
La troisième personne a tout fait rater.
Makes sense. But without evidence, that's still just a theory. Besides Jacques, the attack from the Gardamex has been bothering me quite a bit as well. It's obvious that our enemy has become more antsy after the secret of the primordial seawater was revealed.
Do you think he knew, even then, that we'd follow this lead to the end?
Given everything that's happened since, it's quite possible. But who among the 3 suspects would have the ability to control privately owned Gardamex?
Ah, Marcel.
Uncle Marcel?
Pour moi, c'est Marcel.
My father did really trust him. And they worked together on a large number of projects. Maybe that's how he got to know Jacques. And with funds from the Confrérie, he could also afford a large number of Gardamex. It's still really hard for me to imagine. Also, wouldn't this mean he has been spending a whole lot of Mora and energy to fight his own synth business?
Ah, Marcel? Ah, franchement, je vois pas, hein. Florent, non. Ah, Thierry. Enfin, après, ce serait cliché de dire que ce soit le gendarme qui est tout orchestré.
Thierry, you say? Huh. It is possible that he's figured out a... But I didn't feel like he was lying when he was talking to us about the mecha. I also don't think he'd be able to keep that kind of tampering under wraps.
Yeah, had he actually tampered with the mecha? If the mecha were taken from the guards, it should be pretty easy to find out when and...
C'est pas Florent, frère. Florent, c'est celui qui m'a le plus convaincu.
Florent? It is true that he was closest to my father, and thus had the best chance of learning about his dealings with Jacques. But as Spina di Rosula's advisor, his work mostly deals with personnel and security.
Bah oui.
So
il a pas de
he
thune.
shouldn't have much means when it comes to finances.
So you're saying he's too broke to afford a mecha army?
Exactly. He can't. Who
Okay.
could it be?
Je pense que... Non, c'est Marcel. Mais oui, souvenir d'événements assez flous, il a la thune, il est jaloux de Calas, parce que Calas, du coup, il a fait tout foirer les plans du truc de Sainte. En plus, il organise des banquets avec plein de riches et tout. Non, c'est Marcel. C'est Marcel.
You know, if you think everything through, Uncle Marcel is indeed the most suspicious
Oncle Marcel, bizarre.
Could we be missing other suspects? Malus didn't know about the people turning into water thing when he narrowed it down to these three, did he?
Malus has always been very
Ok,
reliable.
c'est Mélus le
And
coupable.
his judgment of others' trustworthiness has been fair and well considered.
Non, je
When
pense que c'est
he
Marcel.
laid out his case for the three, the suspect is knowledgeable about the Spina's internal affairs, has the means to dispatch Mecha to assassinate us, and possesses significant intellect and foresight. Even if I don't want to believe it, I'm starting to see how things could all tie back to Uncle Marcel.
Well, we still have another trump card on top of all the theorizing and speculating.
Ok, le site de fabrication de Sainte.
Yes, Malus did say that charging
Ah oui, le
straight
quartier
in there
général,
would be
hein.
extremely risky. We need far more solid proof before we can hope to go charging in on our enemy.
Navia, here you are.
Hein, Thierry?
I've been looking for you.
Qu'est-ce que tu fais, Thierry?
Aren't you the guy from the guards?
Yeah. News came from Irenaeus just after you left.
Oh, un procès!
We've got another trial on our hands.
Wasn't that place built specifically for holding trials?
I know. But they said the person they're putting on trial is a Fatui harbinger called Tartaglia.
Eh! Tartin!
What? Is that someone you know?
Qu'est-ce qu'il fout? Qu'est-ce qu'il a foutu encore, ce con?
Yeah, we know him.
Well, he's been accused of being the true culprit behind
Ah non, c'est pas
serial
possible, c'est pas lui.
disappearances case.
Il vient d'arriver.
It's absurd, don't you think?
Il est trop jeune, Tartin, il est trop jeune. Hein.
Wait, how? None of our investigations have had anything to do with him.
That's what I thought was strange about it, so I came to tell you the news
Après qu'un
right
exécuteur Fatui soit à la fontaine, c'est quand même louche, hein, ça c'est sûr.
away. If the charge against him stands, then it'll be next to impossible to get the guards to support
Ok,
any
du
of
coup on va
our
devoir
planned
être la défense de
investigations.
Tartaglia?
Right, because they'll think they've already found the culprit.
Yeah, and it'll be a lot harder than to clear
Okay.
Mr. Callus's name.
Bah, let's go.
I understand.
Séparons-nous.
Huh? Split up? What do you mean?
Ah non?
Just as since this is a trial,
Okay.
you're right. This is our best
Ok,
opportunity.
du coup elle va essayer de les
All right then. Let's
distraire
do
pendant
this.
que moi je vais
I'll
au
sell them
quartier
at the
général.
opera house. I
Tout
won't
détruire.
have any chance of making that charge stick though, unless we find more evidence. It'll
Comptez sur moi.
You, just like you helped us in Lenny's trial.
Demoiselle, please allow us to accompany you.
I'm ready.
Ah, Malou, Silver. When did you two get here?
We heard that you'll be leaving Poisson. It's our hope that your confidence will be bolstered with the tour.
Thank you so much. Then, let's make haste for Irenaeus. Paimon, Traveler, I'll see you at the Opera House.
Ok, let's go.
See you then.
Alors, on comprend les informations concernant les gendarmecs. Les résultats de l'enquête, jusqu'à présent, on peut conclure qu'il n'y a qu'une seule personne qui peut avoir un grand nombre de gendarmecs en sa possession et générer l'entreprise de Sainte sans laisser de traces. Cette personne n'est d'autre que Marcel. On va voir si Marcel est le coupable.
Now that Navia has set out for Irenaeus, we should also get going. The location has already been marked on the map, so let's head over.
Ok, let's go.
According to Malusa's info, the synth production base is underwater. Let's
C'est
go and
parti.
try to find the entrance.
Ok, l'entrée, elle est là. Ok, c'est parti.
Finally found it. Huh. So this is the entrance that leads to the synth production base.
Mais parce qu'ils sont à l'intérieur.
Sure
Hein.
doesn't seem out of the ordinary at all. Ah, you're right. An important place like this is bound to have a ton of protective measures and mechanisms. Navia's probably arguing up a storm right now to stall for us.
Ok. Oh, oh stylé, on a les deux visions. Pour l'instant, l'opéra est picless. Tarta! Sauve-toi!
It would appear that I must repeat my question again, Mr. Tartaglia. Do you accept the charge that you are the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case?
To be perfectly honest, I don't understand your country's complicated court system, or the reason why I'm being charged with something I've never even heard of. However, I did hear that people who have been charged can
Mais non, mais
choose to
voilà,
participate in a duel to clear their
oui,
name.
il veut juste ça en fait.
Is that right? In which case, as long as I accept the charge, I can have an all-out fight with that champion duelist Clorinde,
Mais oui, il veut juste
right?
ça. Le...
I've got to admit, that's one of the most enticing offers I've ever received. When I privately sparred with her last time, she was obviously holding back. Real disappointing.
Hey! Don't you understand? You're currently the prime suspect for a major case. This isn't the place for you to be looking for fights.
Oh? Sounds like the Hydro Archon wants to lecture me on the ways of the Opera House. Then why don't you duel me too? I'm the kind of student
Il
that
veut
learns
taper
best
tout le
in the
monde.
heat of battle.
No. That's not what I meant.
Ok, Furina.
Alas, it would appear that communication with the defendant is going poorly, and we have made very little progress. In
Furina qui a
that
pris
case,
peur.
let me explain everything from the very beginning again. The goal of this trial is to determine the culprit behind the serial disappearances case.
That case had nothing to do with him. You've got the wrong man.
Huh? What's going on? Why is she interjecting again?
I told you it couldn't be one of the Fatui harbingers.
Miss Navia, this is the second time you've interrupted the court proceedings. I only tolerated your behavior last time because you were able to provide the court with a key eyewitness. But that was an exception rather than standard court protocol. I can very well charge you with contempt of court for your interjections.
Oh, please. Did you ever think I had any respect for this place's pointless theatrics? We can put that discussion aside for now. I'm not here to argue with you. I'm here to charge the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case. And if my charges prove true, then Tartaglia here will be proven innocent by default, correct?
Oh, a young lady has charged in and offered to clear my name. How fascinating. Well, I'd gotten half bored to death by all these rules and procedures anyway, so I'll take you up on that offer. So, Your Honor, is there nothing else for me to do now?
You may take a seat for now in the audience, but that doesn't mean the suspicions against you have been lifted.
Ok.
Now then, Miss Navia, who is the person you would like to charge instead?
Marcel!
That person is...
Et là, que... Ah, ce sont les preuves qui est le véritable coupable derrière l'affaire des disparitions de série de jeunes femmes. Merde.
Marcel, the head of Confrérie of Cabrières.
Huh? What confrérie? Never heard of them in my life.
I've heard of them, but weren't they Spina di Rosula's sister organization?
Oh, is this going to be a friends to enemies type situation?
Please let me remind you, Miss
trop de drama.
Navia, that charging someone is an incredibly serious matter. Committing to the charge also means taking on the legal responsibilities associated with it. And if the charge fails, depending on the circumstances, you may also be charged with the crime of making a false accusation. Knowing this, do you still wish to charge this man?
Yes, I do.
In that case, I declare the charge to be valid. Miss Navia and attorneys, please take your places on the court. Members of the guards, please contact Mr. Marcel right away so that he may stand trial.
Mr. Marcel. Pendant ce temps, Bah ouais, Marcel il va être choqué, il va dire mais qu'est-ce qui se passe? Après, non, si c'est vraiment lui le coupable.
Mr. Marcel, you will not require an attorney. Is that correct?
Ah, apologies, sir. It all just happened so quickly. I still haven't figured out what's going on. I think an attorney won't be necessary. This is probably just a misunderstanding between me and Navia.
Very well. In that case, since both sides have now arrived,
Qu'est-ce qu'elle va avancer, Navia?
Please present your charges.
I would like to take everyone back to 3 years ago, to the case of Callus the Unfaithful. Only through elucidating what really happened in that case can we connect all the dots for the serial disappearances case.
Navia, do you really think that I was the one who killed your father? Come on, why would I do that? Callus was my benefactor.
Le coup de feu.
C'est
bien ça le souci, Marcel. Il n'y avait pas un coup de feu, il y avait des coups de feu.
I think there's no point in getting into the specifics right now. The audience doesn't even have the big picture yet. Even I'm struggling to remember some...
Exactly correct, Your Honor. I must refresh everyone's memory about
Let's
that
go.
case before I can explain my charge and reasoning.
I see. In which case, I will recount the findings about that case as originally recorded by Maison Gardiennage.
Maison Gardiennage, c'est parti. Alors, c'est pas... Oh, j'aime bien ça, ça c'est ma moment préféré, ça j'adore ça.
On the day of the murder, Spina di Rosula hosted a large banquet in a countryside estate owned by the Confrérie of Cabrières.
Donc le jour du meurtre, la Spina di Rosula a organisé un grand banquet dans une résidence de campagne possédée par la confrérie de Cabrières.
During the banquet, all attending guests heard 2 gunshots from the courtyard.
Pendant l'événement, tous les invités ont entendu 2 coups de feu retentir dans le jardin.
When the guests arrived at the scene, they found the primary suspect Callus holding a gun, while his acquaintance Jacques lay dead from a
Parce qu'ils sont arrivés sur la
gunshot.
scène du crime, ces invités ont vu Callus, le principal suspect avec un pistolet dans les mains. Jacques, avec qui il avait rendez-vous, gisait sur le sol abattu d'une balle.
The guards' investigation did not recover any other firearms from the scene. As a result, they concluded that the suspect's first shot must have missed.
Les gendarmes n'ont pas
The
trouvé
second
d'autres
must have
armes à
taken
feu
Jacques'
sur les lieux.
life.
Par conséquent, ils en ont conclu que le premier tir du suspect avait raté et que le second avait été fatal pour Jacques.
The suspect did not dispute this conclusion and also declined to defend himself in court.
Oh, il est stylé, j'ai jamais vu Callus.
He chose to prove his innocence through a duel.
Le suspect n'a pas contesté les faits avancés, il a également refusé de se défendre devant la cour en choisissant de prouver son innocence lors d'un duel.
Callus was defeated by
Il
champion
était battu par
duelist
Clorinde et a succombé à ses
in the
blessures.
ensuing duel.
Ok, alors,
These are the known facts about
ça
the
c'est les
case.
faits, on va dire, tout le monde connaît cette histoire là quoi. Sauf Furina qui a tout oublié.
The one with the motive to kill was Jacques, not my father. And even so, Jacques still had no reason to pull the trigger. In truth, the third person shot Jacques first, and was shot in turn by my father when my father seized the gun from him. After that, the true culprit turned the third person into water, erasing all traces of him from the scene. Thank you for the summary, Your Honor. Of course, the guard's conclusion appeared quite sensible to us at the time. However, we should revisit
Et oui,
the case
maintenant
now
qu'il y a
that
l'eau
we've
salée.
gained new information about the abilities of water from the primordial sea.
Ok. Alors. Le jour du meurtre, la Spina di Rosula a organisé un grand banquet dans une résidence de campagne possédée par la confrérie de Cabrières. Chercher des contradictions. Merde! Oh, le flop. Ah, Callus n'est pas porté d'armes avec lui. C'est ça. Putain, nique sa mère! Le jour du meurtre, la Spina di Rosula a organisé un grand banquet dans une résidence de campagne possédée par la confrérie de Cabrières. Il y a 3 ans... Bah, les vêtements, non? Mais putain, j'ai 0 sur 20, frère! Je fais n'importe quoi! Attends, mais qu'est-ce qui se passe? En fait, j'ai compris ce qu'il faut dire, mais j'arrive pas à mettre en place les... Ah, putain! J'avais pas vu l'eau, là. Ok, donc faut le placer quelque part. C'est ça, maintenant... Est-ce que c'est ça? Si par contre, si j'ai faux, ok, c'est bien ça. C'est là.
The guards once believed they were used by Jacques as a costume to disguise him, but now it is clear
Oui, parce que maintenant on a l'eau.
Since it was raining that day,
Il
the
pleuvait cette
culprit
pluie,
was
ouais.
confident that they could use the rain to wash away all traces of their dissolved accomplice.
Ok, très bien. Donc on a ça qui est validé. Maintenant, lorsqu'ils sont arrivés sur la scène du crime, les invités ont vu Callus, le principal suspect avec un pistolet dans les mains. Le cadavre de Jacques avec qui il avait rendez-vous gisait sur le sol, sur la base de l'enquête menée à l'époque. Il n'y avait aucune possibilité que quelqu'un d'autre ait pu commettre l'acte et s'échapper et Callus ait enquêté jugé coupable. Cependant, après une nouvelle enquête, il est Il est maintenant certain que Callas n'a pas porté d'armes avec lui. De plus, les détails de l'indiquent... Bah moi je pensais que c'était Florent parce que Callas n'avait pas d'armes lorsqu'elle est sortie et ça faisait sens avec ça. Mais du coup ça doit être les gendarmes. Hein. Non? En fait c'est le highlight en bleu qui me pose problème. Hein. Ah, me dites pas la réponse. Oui, mais... Ok. En fait, si je pose des questions, c'est pas pour que vous puissiez me répondre. Hein. Je m'en bats les couilles de vos réponses. Hein. Non, il est pas perma. Il est pas perma, mais... Bon, bref. Hein. J'arrête de lire le chat. Merci Korma pour le prime. Alors. Ah oui, personne de vêtements inconnus. C'est la même personne. Callas n'avait pas d'arme lorsqu'il est sorti. Et c'est lui du coup, Cabrière, vu que c'est lui qui a tout. Non? Ah merde! Callas qui avait un mobile, Attrée Jacques. Non, légitime défense parce que Jacques avait un ordre pour le tuer.
The testimony of the victim's family confirms that Jacques had thoughts of assassinating Callas when he set out for the banquet. However, in the end he reconsidered and instead shared everything with Callas. Unfortunately for Jacques, the true culprit had already considered this possibility and had sent out another assassin.
Ah merde, il fallait pas tout mettre.
The true culprit caused the hired assassin to dissolve into water, leading everyone to believe Callas was responsible for Jacques' murder. This is the true version of events.
Du coup là donc dissous, hein, l'assassin dans l'eau, et sans après s'en être aperçu, tout le monde a cru que c'est là, ce cas-là c'est le meurtrier, voilà, la version des faits. Ok.
That's what happened. Wait, you're telling me something as dangerous as water from the primordial sea has been used for all these years?
What a great theory. It also explains Callas's and Jacques' respective motives. I guess they didn't shoot each other after all.
Mr. Marcel, you are the one being charged with the crime. You should provide a rebuttal if you wish to prove your innocence.
Ah, but I think I agree with everything Navia just said. In fact, there was nothing in her speech that directly implicated me.
Then, may I ask some questions? In my opinion, we primarily need to determine two things. One, do you have the evidence to back up your claims?
I'm afraid not. At least not at this very moment.
Boo! If you don't have any evidence, you should just go home!
I may not have the evidence with me, but I know where I could go to collect it. If we look up the deserted clothes against a record of people who went missing around the same time, we should be able to find a match. Considering the serial disappearances case, the guards probably kept careful records of all missing persons from around that time, regardless of age or gender.
That makes sense to me. Monsieur Neuvillette, I would consider this to be a reasonable investigative direction.
Why do I feel like Furina's acting a little differently today?
Maybe she's scared of embarrassing herself again?
Alternatively, she's become more diligent after charging an innocent citizen in the last trial.
My second question has to do with the ensuing duel. If the truth is indeed as you described,
le duel, ouais.
Then why didn't Mr. Callas explain himself in court? if he had testified that a person had been dissolved, he could have at least mounted a defense.
I've thought about this too, and the answer is actually pretty simple. He felt there were things that were more important to him. The dissolving power of water from the primordial sea is an important secret for the true culprit of the serial disappearances case. My father could have exposed it for all to see, but he chose to take it to the grave. At that time, Spina di Rosula was in dire straits, and his reputation had already been shattered. He had no guarantee that going forward with the truth would allow the culprit to be brought to justice. What was certain, however, was that it would paint a gigantic target on my back.
Boss once told me that Demoiselle had already been selected as the next target of the serial disappearances case.
What?
What?
If the secret had gotten out, the culprit would have fought an all-out war with Espina right there and then. I wouldn't have been the only one in danger. All of us would have stood to lose our lives. Of course, the guards might eventually figure out the truth of the matter and determine that we were in the right. But what good would that do? How can had this opera house ever given my father any kind of confidence in its brand of justice? Spina di Rosula would have had no reason to exist. But by staying silent, we retain the ability to deter our opponents and continue the stalemate. I was able to become Spina di Rosula's president, which made me harder to target, as well as giving me more time to grow and learn.
Et elle raconte un peu la vie de sa vie, mais ok.
Figured out the truth and stepped up to the challenge, I will do what this opera house cannot and restore my father's truth and honor back to him.
So, you mean to say, your father intended to die in the duelist's ring?
Il avait tout prévu.
That's right.
Do you have any proof?
Of course. All you need is to ask his opponent, Clorinde.
Intéressant.
I don't need your apology, your guilt, or your support from the shadows. But since he entrusted his will to you, Clorinde, you should tell us the truth about his sacrifice.
So, during the duel, did you believe that Callus was intending to die?
Yes, I did. As a champion duelist, I've fought many battles and taken a countless number of dishonored lives. In my line of work, I've seen all kinds of people give their all for the faintest hope to continue living. Some were determined, others passionate, and some even manic and twisted. Just one look and I can tell if a duelist is hoping to live or if they're looking to die. I hereby swear on my name and honor as a champion duelist that Mr. Callus never intended to leave the ring alive.
Okay.
Since that's your testimony, I have no more questions.
Okay, let's go.
It appears there really are good
Et pendant ce temps, que fait le voyageur?
I concur. However, Miss Navia, you still have not explained the link between your father's case and the serial disappearances case.
Right? What she said was fascinating, but kind of beside the point.
Wait, weren't they just talking about the serial disappearances case?
Of course, Your Honor. The two cases are connected via a matter of timing. In my father's case, the culprit intended to kill both Jacques and Callus. As a result, they planned to act after hearing two gunshots. And at the end of Linny's trial, the culprit also only dissolved the victim in front of everyone because they realized they were at risk of being identified.
Effectivement, et on sait que Marcel était avec Navia à l'opéra, vu qu'il a dit qu'il était venu avec elle.
The culprit could only
Pour le tour
time
de
their
magie.
actions so precisely if they were already at the scene. Coincidentally, Marcel attended both the banquet and the trial.
So that's why you suspected me. Even after hearing your reasoning, I still can't help but find it a little preposterous. I'm used to it, though. You've always been an impulsive and sentimental child, Navia. It's one of your most endearing traits.
Marcel qui garde le sang-froid pour l'instant.
No need to appeal to pathos.
I won't try to refute your points one by one, but even if everything you just said was true, can you prove that I was the only person present at both events? On top of that, does a person have to be physically present to control the timing? Can't someone remotely monitor the place?
Ouais, ok. C'est vrai.
Know what you can say to that.
I know that even with that, You might still think you can reduce the list
Il est fort,
of
il est fort,
suspects with some further investigations until I'm the only one left on the list. Alas, who won't feel at least a little hurt by an accusation of murder from a girl you see as your own daughter?
Non, il en fait trop
If I
là.
were to dismiss this completely, you'd also think I'm not being considerate of your feelings. Ah well, let Uncle Marcel teach you another lesson. Do you know what the biggest flaw in your reasoning is?
I suppose you're gonna tell me anyways.
It's timing again. I'm a businessman by trade. From that standpoint, there's no reason for me to kidnap young women. It's a high-risk action with nothing to gain. In addition, I left my home in Snezhnaya when I was young to come to Poisson and work in some trade.
Comment ça
My
quitter
business
Snezhnaya?
only thrived when I received Callus's patronage. But the disappearances began before I ever stepped foot in Fontaine.
I do apologize, demoiselle. This was my mistake.
No, it's not your fault. I'm sure he had come prepared.
Is there anything else you'd like to say? Would you like to check
Ah, il est
the
fort,
date
il est
of my
fort, hein.
first business license against the first known case of the serial disappearances? You can also take a look at my border entry records, or ask my friends and family when I left Snezhnaya for the first time. Could those records and testimonies do something to appease the unspeakable anguish in your heart?
Seems like she got the wrong guy. At this rate, Navia will be convicted for falsely accusing him.
I think you've done a superb job of dissecting your father's feelings as he neared the end of his life. But aren't you going against all of his wishes and expectations right now? He wished for you to become more rational, collected, and conscientious, instead of dwelling only on your own feelings. Once you've learned to be more considerate of others' feelings and to stop
Ah, il essaie de lui retourner le cerveau là. Et il y arrive, hein, il est en train de le faire. Hein.
Most of his expectations.
This isn't just about me, and it never has been. The biggest difference between me and the rest of the victims is that I still have the ability to search for the truth. The people whose families were destroyed by synth abuse, the people who lost their loved ones to the serial disappearances, and the people who suffered tragic ends due to their sense of justice. Many people's images are flashing before my eyes. I'm sure some are coming to those of you in the audience as well. And whose image do you see, Marcel? Is it a man named Vacher?
Oh, le nom va le déstabiliser. Ah, effectivement.
Oh, so you do know that name.
I'm merely surprised you'd suddenly say the name of someone I've
Ah, c'est
never
trahi.
heard of.
I was waiting for you to say that.
Ah, à nous deux. Et là, du coup, je suis sûr qu'on va arriver en mode coup de théâtre. Avec une preuve. Ok, à nous deux. Alors. Continuez d'enquêter. Let's go. Oui! Attends, mais... Ouais, non, mais on va pas jouer à la voyageuse ici. C'est parti.
Stabilize. Mind the side effects. Taking a turn.
Allez.
Wind strike.
C'est catastrophique, j'ai pas de R.
The birds call.
Attends, activer. Let's go.
Floor is going up. Is it because of this mechanism in the middle? That guy really prepared a lot of stuff for this place.
Ouh, en tout cas, c'est joli ici, hein, j'aime bien. Ouh, des coffres, d'accord. Ouh. Porte de la résurrection activée. On doit monter là-haut, j'ai pas le chemin. Sûrement un mécanisme Ousia encore. Ah, ou alors faut aller dans l'eau. Hop, faut lui prendre ça. Et tout faire péter. Boom. Oh, la musique est tellement cool ici. De toute façon, la musique sous l'eau, c'est toujours un banger. Ok, mécanisme Ousia. Activé. Et là, on rep... Ah. Ok. Et donc là, logiquement, on va pouvoir du coup atteindre l'endroit en hauteur grâce à l'eau. Très bien, très bien. Eh bien, allons-y.
water level is rising.
Nice, ça
Let's
s'ouvre.
swim to the top. But this is still a ways away from where we need to go.
Hop. Allez, on avance. Y a-t-il des coffres? Oh, des mobs ici. En tout cas, c'est très rapide, hein. Allez, Lumine. Un petit E là, des particules, parfait, on a l'ulti. Bam. Du bloom. On peut le faire. Voilà.
I will have order.
Allez, mouille tout. Ok. On l'a eu. Continue. L'eau va encore monter, ouais. Et là, ça sera bon. C'est vrai qu'on comprend mieux pourquoi mieux ne sont pas tardés sur le voyageur durant le stream. Hein. Let's go! Oh, le jump! Oh, yes, on s'accroche, ça va. C'était joli. Alors, qu'avons-nous ici? D'accord, on s'enfonce. Pas de coffre. Un coffre ici. Et un mécanisme. Ouh, mais en tout cas, c'est super joli, hein, le donjon. Dommage qu'on va la réutiliser qu'une seule fois et après on n'ira plus jamais dans notre vie, mais ils ont mis du taf dans le donjon, c'est joli.
Stabilize. The doctor was seen. Remember.
Bam!
This is order. Solidify.
Donne-moi des particules. Ulti. Hop, on met des blooms. Moins 1. Les bulles.
Time to go. Into the wind.
Order guide you. Gather.
Mince. Ok, ma stratégie est parfaite. Ah! Let's go. Allez, passons à la salle suivante. Pas de coffre.
After all that, we finally made it to the innermost sanctum. Though, as expected, the mastermind isn't here.
Navia est en train de l'accuser de son crime à cet instant.
That's right. Then let's
Les preuves, vite. Des preuves. Observez la table.
What's this over here?
Laboratoire.
Looks like some kind of place for experiment number 16.
Il a fait la conclusion du travail de Jacob Ingold sur le mère primordial. Un échec. Aucun sujet n'a réussi à réémerger de l'eau de la mer primordiale. Calme-toi, Paimon. Le but du chercheur est de sauver son amante, une femme nommée Vinière qui a été dissoute.
So that's That's why he did all of these experiments. Wait, did he really think he'd be able to find a way just by dissolving people over and over? That's just insane!
Il y a un autre nom ici. Vacher.
Huh? Isn't that the name you heard by the fountain? Paimon thought he was an eyewitness in the serial disappearances case.
Non, c'est le chercheur.
You mean Vacher is the one who did all of these...
Oui, sa signature figure sur de nombreux rapports d'expérience. La voix près de la fontaine était probablement celle de Vinière. Ah, merci Taffy pour le sub.
So that's it. Vacher was no victim, but personally took his lover and...
Et du coup, Vacher et Marcel.
Not it either. If that's the case, why would he want people to resurface from the water? In any case, Paimon will write it all down.
Ok. Alors. Ça, on vient de le voir. Les bouteilles.
Whoa. There's so much synth here. And so many bottles of ingredients that probably just contain the waters of the primordial.
En cours de mélange, prêt à boire échantillon.
Ready to drink? Stock sample? Whoa, there's even fruit flavored synth?
Oh, de la synth au goût de fruits.
Yep, it's super obvious.
De la drogue! Observez le bassin.
Oh, look! There's an important looking basin over here. And it's full of water.
Tire-moi de l'eau de la mer primordiale.
That means this is where
Je
they make
jette
all the
Paimon
synth.
dedans. Bon, après, ça fera rien.
Special
Parce qu'elle est
water is
pas
the
fontainoise.
main ingredient. If you dilute it with normal water, you'll get synth. But the pure stuff can dissolve a human. Paimon will take notes on this incriminating evidence.
Quand elle m'a l'air bien pure, cette eau de mer. Observez l'étagère.
Let's see what's written here. Nothing escapes
Rien n'échappe aux yeux de la détective Paimon.
Paimon's eyes.
Kala, c'est le nom du père de Navia.
Alice.
Rapport d'enquête sur lui.
Navia's father. Oh, this seems to be an investigation report
C'est
on
probablement
him.
l'affaire en lien avec l'affaire de Jacques. Ça parle de trouver quelqu'un pour assassiner Jacques et Calas.
This should prove the existence of the third person, right?
Au cas où Jacques ou Calas se défilerait, ok. Autre chose, troisième personne.
We still have not determined the exact content of the key information Callus has passed on to certain members of his organization. The old dog's a real menace to deal with. Even if he abides by the promise he's made to us, he can act whenever he wants to make our lives miserable.
Et du coup, Calas
The only option left is to remove
est engagé pour
him from
travailler
the
pour eux, mais
picture entirely.
à changer ses motifs, enfin avec des motifs différents.
Let's send someone to kill him. He won't declare war as long as we don't touch
Aïe aïe aïe.
Oh, seems like we've got
La
a
seule
bunch of
faiblesse, sa
correspondence
fille.
between the higher-ups.
Mais en réalité aussi sa force, évidemment. Sa force et sa faiblesse. Il avait prévu le crime bien avant ça.
They're all just so evil.
Ok. Qu'avons-nous à part ça? Les objets?
What's all this? Pink accessories, a hair tie,
Élastique à cheveux, collier, boîte à gants. Ah, c'était peut-être les affaires personnelles des femmes qui les ont enlevées.
Oh, Paimon sees it too, but why are... Huh? You mean the girls from the serial disappearances? And then they were turned into water, and all the boxes of things, these names. That means...
Et beaucoup. Il y en avait combien du coup? Combien de jeunes femmes ont été enlevées?
Looked at almost everything here, and it seems
Qui est
like
ce
our
Vacher?
theories were- Yeah, we haven't found anything that would... No wonder even Neuvillette wasn't able to find anything.
Neuvillette.
Whoever it is
Okay.
probably destroyed everything to do with that name along that way. Even if we bring all this back to the opera, we won't be able to identify
C'est
the
rusé,
true
mais on trouvera sûrement
culprit.
quelque chose, fouillons encore.
Sure thing. Paimon won't admit...
Ok, alors combien il y a de victimes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Après, je sais pas si ça marche comme ça. Peut-être 22 du coup, 22, 23, 24.
You take that side and Paimon will take this side.
Ok. C'est par là en fait. Fallait refaire la cinématique plus tard. Ah, elle voulait de la bouffe, hein. Ah, j'ai quelque chose. Qu'est-ce que j'ai? Un bouquin? Vinière, ok, le nom de l'amante de Vacher, ouais. Son carnet? Le journal intime? Au cas de cette page, elle a fait une liste de prénoms pour bébé. Ouais. Sauf un. Le prénom qu'elle a choisi au bout est Marcel. Donc Marcel est le fils du coup de Vacher. Très bien. Mais pourquoi et pour couvrir sa famille, je sais pas, qu'est-ce que...
And whose image do you see, Marcel?
La mise en scène.
Vacher?
Et là, oh, mon père, du coup.
Oh.
I'm merely surprised you'd suddenly say the name of someone I've never even heard of.
I was waiting for you to say that. Navia! We're back! As expected of my partner. I just knew you'd return in the nick of time.
Just how often do you intend to flout the rules of this court?
It's all right, Monsieur Neuvillette. Given their confidence, I expect they've found the crucial evidence.
Ok. Furina qui est sage. Vous dites n'avoir jamais entendu parler de Vacher. Bah... Dossier de l'affaire. Quelle preuve relève la véritable identité de Vacher? Bah, le carnet. Après, le calepin. Il dit tout, quoi, le calepin. Mais est-ce que c'est ça? C'est ce à quoi il veut que je réponde? Parce que là, il y a les rapports d'expérience de Vacher. C'est soit ça. Parce que là, voilà. Quelle preuve révèle la véritable identité de Vacher? Bah voilà, le rapport d'expérience, c'est à les jeunes femmes 22, 23, 24. Donc c'est ça, il y a ça. Mais ça, c'est aussi pour directement inculquer Marcel, quoi. Ok, donc c'était pas ça, donc c'est ça? Ouais, c'est un des deux. C'est un des deux.
But the truth of it, Marcel, is that you've always been Vacher.
Oh non, vous êtes Vacher?
Hein?
Je me suis fait avoir aussi?
We've investigated your lair and we already know everything.
Ou alors il a continué l'expérience du Vacher.
After your lover, Vinier, was dissolved, you kept abducting young women to experiment on the hopes of bringing her back to you. You even created Marcel as a new identity and destroyed all records of your past as Vacher.
So that's it. Even the villains in opera performances rarely go that far. And with that, Marcel's motive has now been established.
This information regarding your past also dismantles your prior timing defense. Well, Marcel, do you know where you went wrong?
Est-ce que tu as eu tort, hein? Dis-moi.
You fixated your gaze on the lover that passed away, instead of paying attention to the living people around you. So, you never noticed how we changed, or how we grew as individuals.
You also never understood Boss's real expectations for his daughter.
Or our determination to see things through.
Your determination.
Mr. Marcel, please speak up now if you would like to defend yourself. Otherwise, the trial will move on to the next stage.
Do you really think I wanted to do any
Échec et
of
mat.
this? Pay attention to you? What for? Have you ever paid attention to me? Ever empathized with my pain? Ever known how it feels to watch the love of your life dissolve right in front of your eyes? No one helped me. No one even believed me. All those decades ago, even the officers from the Maison Gardiennage were laughing at me. They said there's no way a human being can turn into water. So I must have gone mad from grief. Vinier's death was brushed away by all of you as if it didn't matter at all. Well, now you know, don't you? Ha! Well, it's too late now. All those who were dissolved are gone forever. You only have yourselves to blame. You set up this ornate opera house in pursuit of your so-called justice, your beloved drama, while turning a blind eye to the suffering of the people. Vignere is dead. We promised each other that we would always be together.
Elle est pas morte justement. Enfin, elle est encore là. Elle est encore là techniquement. Ah bah oui.
No matter what I do.
Hey, is that water
Ah ouais, mais du coup ça marchera pas.
I can't dissolve. Can't dissolve. Can't dissolve. Do you all see? I can't go. I can't follow. So if I can't go where she is, what choice do I have but to try to bring her back? I did all of that, and in the end, that accursed Callus still got the better of me. I spent my entire life living on pins and needles, only to get stabbed by his idiot daughter at the very end.
Oh la malveillance.
Is exhibiting signs of mental distress. Guards, please restrain him.
Don't touch me. Don't anybody come near me. I still need to save Vignere. I promise. We made a promise. Vignere.
Ah, il en peut plus là, le bro.
Please, Vignere. Don't think badly of me. All I want to do is fulfill our promise.
At this point, the verdict of this trial is clear. With Mr. Marcel's conviction, the charges against Mr. Tartaglia no longer have any basis.
Okay, no santé.
Fine by me. I was in a bad mood, but after a show like that, I'm actually feeling pretty good.
Traveler, please submit all the evidence you have collected to the guards, so that I might review and summarize the truth behind the serial disappearances case.
Ok. Neuvillette regarde et arrange les preuves et les rapports.
The man now known as Marcel was originally named Vacher and worked as an adventurer with his partner and lover Vignere. During an underwater expedition, Vignere accidentally came into contact with water from the primordial sea and was dissolved in front of Vacher as a result. Vacher learned of the primordial water's existence through the work of others and began to kidnap young women for research, with the goal of discovering a method to restore Vignere back to life. To cover his tracks, he invented the new alias of Marcel and began to operate a business in Poisson. During the course of his research, Vacher discovered that a diluted concoction of water from the primordial sea can induce feelings of euphoria, and began to manufacture and market synth. However, as he accumulated wealth to fund his continued research and expanded the scope, he came into conflict with Spina di Rosula. After exchanging blows with Spina di Rosula for many years, Vacher decided to assassinate their president Callus at a banquet. Although the assassination did not go as Vacher expected, he was able to turn Callus into the murder suspect by dissolving the assassin he sent to the scene. And just recently, Vacher attempted to frame Linny as the culprit of the serial disappearances case, using a similar method. However, his attempt to frame Linny failed, and the power of water from the primordial sea became public knowledge. This case also exposed enough of Vacher's machinations that he was eventually successfully charged in court. Thus concludes the enigmatic history of the serial disappearances case, with the truth revealed to all.
Ok. C'est lui donc le cerveau. Marcel, enfin Vacher.
The oratrice will now deliver the final verdict regarding the charges against
Attention,
Mr.
l'animation de l'oratrice. Star Rail. Dan Heng, s'il vous plaît. En vrai, je suis garanti, donc ça va.
According to the judgment of the oratrice mécanique d'analyse cardinale, Mr.
Il l'a dit.
Vacher is
guilty.
Guards, take Vacher away.
Take Vacher.
Good. It's what he deserves.
With that, the serial disappearances case is over now.
We really just witnessed history. Who would have thought the true culprit would be such a polite and well-spoken guy?
Yippee! We helped Navia bring the bad guy to justice! and now he's finally getting what he deserves. Huh? Are you okay?
Navia? Qu'est-ce qu'elle a?
Demoiselle, you were absolutely brilliant.
The day our late boss had always hoped for has finally come. You can rest easy now, knowing justice has been served.
Yeah. Yeah. It's finally over. It's all thanks to you guys. See, Papa? Spina di Rosula's still doing well with me at the helm.
Well now, hasn't this been a most delicious piece of drama? The villain has been caught, justice has been served, past wrongs have been righted, and it's a big ol' happy ending. Since it's been such a great show, I'll just let the false accusations against me slide. Either way, I've still got some business to attend to. So, if you...
Please wait just one moment, Mr. Tartaglia.
Ok, ça c'est le trailer, ça. Ça c'est le trailer.
What now?
J'en suis sûr.
None of this has anything to do with me.
According to court protocol, since this trial was initiated due to a charge against you, a verdict must also be made regarding the initial charge before the trial can conclude.
Oh, come on. Is this really necessary? Haven't you already caught the real criminal? Isn't it time for side characters like me to exit stage left?
Please respect the laws of Fontaine. This has always been the rule.
All right, but this sure is a lot of hassle. All I need to do is stand over there, right? Let's just get this over with.
Through evidence presented in the public trial that was just held, it has been established that Mr. Tartaglia has no direct connection to the serial disappearances case. The guilty party has been identified, and thus it is logical to suppose Mr. Tartaglia is innocent of the charges. We now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale to render the final verdict on the charges.
Guilty?
According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale, Mr. Tartaglia is guilty.
What?
Oh, la tête de tartare, ça me rappelle les mots,
Hey! That's not funny! Didn't you just say I'm supposed to be innocent? What's with this verdict? Is your justice
Après, la machine est bizarre, hein, je dis pas, mais bon.
Huh? This has never happened before. The Oratrice actually returned a different verdict from the Chief Justice.
I mean, have you ever heard of an innocent Fatui Harbinger? Do you think the Oratrice might have just convicted him on general principle?
But weren't the charges about the serial disappearances case? No matter what else he's guilty of, it shouldn't affect the verdict in this case, right?
Qu'est-ce qui se passe?
The judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale is, by law, the final verdict of the court. We must accept the guilty verdict. Guards, please take the suspect into custody per court protocol.
Ok, le trailer. Et du coup, il a pas son œil. Hein.
Justice is done in Fontaine. What a joke. You've got your rules. Well, I've got mine too!
Putain, mais si seulement on peut avoir Tarta comme ça en foudre, ça serait incroyable. Ça serait trop bien. Le power-up. Neuvillette entre en action. Il a pas eu le temps de le laisser charger.
If you have been wronged, we will find the truth. But the rules of the court must be upheld.
Neuvillette? What's going on? Shouldn't they have been cleared
already? Il a brisé la règle des shonen. Il l'a pas laissé power up.
Apologies. This is also the first time I've encountered such a situation. However, according to the rules established at the conception of Fontaine's court system, the oratrice's judgment is the final verdict of the court. All I do is follow court procedure. As for why the oratrice arrived at the conclusion it did, you should probably ask someone more knowledgeable than me.
Mais, moi, l'oratrice, l'oratrice, je trouve ça bizarre, hein. Pour moi, obéir à une machine comme ça, bizarre, hein. Et le juge suprême ne sait pas, n'avons pas d'autre chose que de poser la question à l'archon.
Why are you looking at me? I had nothing to do with it.
J'avoue que Furina
know what happened there either.
Furina n'a absolument rien apporté.
What does Lady Furina mean by that?
Qu'est-ce qu'elle a fait?
She says she has no idea either, but that's impossible. Didn't she create the oratrice herself?
Yeah, so are the verdicts reliable or not? Can results like
Bah oui,
this really be
bah oui, voilà. Pourquoi on croit une machine?
My dearest citizens, did you really think we'd allow an incorrect verdict to be handed out in this court? Did you really believe that the judgment could be mistaken or be the result of some sort of random mishap? Don't tell me you thought even I had been blindsided by the oratrice's result.
But the way she looked just now, it was pretty obvious she had no idea what was going on.
However, given the state of things, I shall give you an explanation. Everything that just took place, including supposed shock and bafflement, was a part of an elaborate performance. Of course, for every performance there is a script. Everything has unfolded exactly as I expected from the very beginning. As the embodiment of the very concept of justice, the oratrice shall never render an arbitrary judgment! If you thought Child had nothing to do with the serial disappearances case, it is only because you've been blinded by the superficial appearance of innocence. Everything he's done, not to mention the danger he poses, are beyond ordinary comprehension and completely unforgivable! All shall be revealed in time. You will come to understand my noble intentions, as well as the absolute correctness of the oratrice's verdict. Now, having said that, although I hate to leave things hanging in suspense, it is now time for this performance to end. As the lead actress, I shall be the first to take my leave. Toodaloo!
So she chose to make her escape after all, did she?
So you're saying we shouldn't put much stock into what she just said?
C'est une giga fraude.
She probably just put on that performance to save face. As for the truth, it's unlikely that she actually has any idea.
C'est vraiment comme la scène sur le piédestal.
However, please be assured that I will continue to investigate this case in a personal capacity. Just as I promised, if the judgment has been incorrect, we will do our utmost to clear his name.
All right. Even though we feel pretty badly for him, we'll take your word for it for now. After all, he's done plenty of bad stuff, so he should have known he'd go to prison someday, right?
Quitter l'opéra.
Oh, Monsieur Neuvillette!
Ah!
That power you showed when you took
Nice.
him down. Who are you really?
Qui êtes-vous au juste?
I'm the Chief Justice of Fontaine, of course. If officers of the law lack the strength and capability to enforce it, then it makes a mockery of justice.
Ok. Est-ce qu'il y a pas encore Navia? Non, il n'y a pas Navia. Ok. Quitte l'opéra.
Hey, what are you doing? Quick, stop him! Traveler! Hey! Traveler!
Qu'est-ce qu'il va dire, Marcel?
Marcel! What are you doing over here?
Stop resisting arrest!
Cease, or we'll add another charge to the list.
No, wait! I just want to ask the Traveler something. I'm not looking to run away. Please, just let me ask this one small thing.
Go on.
Thank you. I was being led away when I finally realized something. Where did you first hear the name Vacher? I erased all records of that name. So, unless...
Elle est partie à la conclusion que lui a dit sa femme.
Trying to prove your innocence? Give it up. You've already been
Oui,
convicted.
je l'ai rencontré.
Really? You did? You're sure? You met her?
C'était près de la fontaine de Lucine.
How could that be? The fountain of Lucine? Then she's been so close to me all along. And I just never... Please give me a chance to talk to her again. Just let the Traveler take me to the fountain to see her one last time. This is the last request I'll ever make in my life. You can do whatever you want to me afterwards. I don't care.
What? Give an inch and you want to take a mile? Do you think serial killers get to make requests like that?
Paimon agrees. Why should we give him what he wants when he's only done a ton of super terrible things?
This request, is it worth as much to you as your life?
Of course! Wait, no. It's worth even more than my life.
Humans. Will they betray the instinct to live just to satisfy spiritual needs? Very well. I will grant your request.
Your Honor, I fear that...
I will go with him. You do not need to worry about any escape.
In that case, I shall leave him in your most capable hands, Chief Justice.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Ok. Et bah conduisons Marcel à la fontaine de Lucine. Pour qu'il ait sa conclusion. Sa happy ending entre guillemets.
Is this the place? You said she's here, but what do I need to do to see her?
Boire beaucoup d'eau.
Yeah, and even Paimon could hear her after drinking that thing. Didn't you just drink a lot of it on the stage as well?
Vacher.
Oh, Vacher.
Ah!
Yes, that's it. So you heard it too.
Vinière, it's me, Vacher.
Vacher? Vacher.
I'm here. Where are you, Vinière? I'm coming for you.
Hey, wait! Be careful!
Cinématique?
Vinière, is that you? It's me, Vacher. Vinière.
Vacher? Why did you come? Didn't I say? You don't need to look for me. You look a lot older than I remember. How long has it been?
It's been more than 20 years. I've suffered for over 20 years since the day you left. All this time, only the thought of bringing you back has kept me alive. Nothing else mattered to me. I must be dreaming. Who would have thought I'd get the chance to tell you all of my feelings like this? Vinière, you are my everything. I really don't know how I could live without you.
But Vacher, if you ask me, this world would be better off without you.
What are you saying?
If not for you, I would have finished my law degree and probably become a top-tier attorney one day.
Là c'est même pas genre parce qu'elle connaît, elle sait qu'il a fait des meurtres, c'est juste... Je m'ai tiré vers le bas. En fait elle avait peut-être juste prévu, après leur date, de se séparer en fait, c'est tout ce qu'elle voulait lui dire.
If not for you, I would have continued to pursue my love of the arts, and my works would have been displayed in the Palais Mermonia itself. If not for you, I would at least have been able to take care of my mother. And she would not have grown old and died alone, with nothing but the
Non mais
tears on
il va
her
se
cheeks.
tuer là, Vacher, c'est pas possible.
It's all because of your selfishness, Vacher. It's all because of you.
20 ans pour avoir ça.
Wait, you are not Vinier. Who are you?
You're right. I am not Vinier.
Ah.
I am the sacrifices.
Ah.
Every woman who died by your hand, as our bodies
D'accord, en fait.
dissolved, our consciousnesses flowed
Donc
back to the primordial
c'est toutes les femmes, ouais, plus Vinière.
Our thoughts circulated endlessly within the primordial sea, and we were no longer individuals. I'm Cressy. I'm Lemony. I'm Azine. The only one I am not.
Ah non, c'est même pas Vinière.
Is Vinier.
Why? But then, where is Vinier?
Je l'ai mangé.
She doesn't want to see you anymore. Every tendril of her consciousness is avoiding you.
Il en a tué combien 24, je crois.
This is what
Au
you
moins.
get for your selfishness. Your selfishness robbed us of our lives and our futures. You said time and time again that you'd do any and everything for her. But did you ever consider whether she'd want to see you do the things that you did? If she would despise you for what you became? You are a liar, a heartless murderer, and a cowardly narcissist. The only thing you are not is Vinier's beloved. From the moment your first victim died and her consciousness merged with Vinier's, she has had nothing but pure hatred for you.
No! Yeah! She can't hate me. Let me see her. Please! Have mercy!
You still don't understand. When I said don't look for me, that came from the real Vinier. She really doesn't want to see you anymore. But on top of that, she also said that because it's her final drop of pity for you. She said that because she knew that if you did come here, we will show no mercy to you.
Après, dans tous les cas, qui meurt maintenant où il va se...
Vacher.
Vacher. Non mais... Dans tous les cas, il va se pendre dans sa cellule, hein, Vacher, c'est fini. Plus tard, les gendarmes ont conclu que Marcel est coupable de l'affaire des disparitions. S'est fait voler son âme. Cependant, le dernier rapport indique qu'il a... Quelques jours plus tard. Bon bah, il a eu ça, il a eu la fin qu'il méritait, hein.
Finally, we have some time to do shopping. Gosh, it's really been a long time since we've been able to relax.
J'ai mal aux jambes.
Well met, partner. I knew something great was going to happen when I woke up in such a good mood today.
Even this weather can't put a damper on the demoiselle's mood.
It's a pleasure to see you both again.
Oh, hey, Navia! It's been a few days. Paimon's already started to miss you.
Oh, now that I believe. I'm easy to work with and always bring home the bacon. Who wouldn't treasure having a partner like me?
Sounds like you're really enjoying life these days, Navia.
It's just been one thing after the other. I've been making non-stop trips between Poisson and the courts in Sen. Everyone from Spina di Rosula organized a memorial for my father.
Ils vont enfin le respecter.
We never held a memorial
Ce n'est plus
when he
du coup
first
Calas le
died,
déloyal maintenant.
since everyone knew that even if we held one back then, no one was going to come. This time, though, everyone in Poisson, and even many people from the court, all attended.
So his name's definitely been cleared now.
It's been the dearest wish of Demoiselle all along.
That
Tout est bien qui
blasted
finit bien.
stubborn fool. I was... Oh, by the way, I ran into
Ah,
Charlotte
c'est vrai,
just
Charlotte.
after I
Hein.
left the
J'avais
memorial
oublié
service.
Charlotte.
Well, maybe it'd be more accurate to say I knew she would be there, and there was no way she'd just let me go.
Huh? So you know Charlotte too? The Charlotte? Journalist from the Steambird?
Yeah, way back when I first became the president of the Spina di Rosula, she was all over me. Wouldn't take no for an answer. I believe the story was called
Au cœur des ténèbres,
The
l'histoire
True
secrète de la
Heart
rose
of
jaune.
Darkness, Secret Tales of the Yellow Rose. To be fair, though, it was a really flattering feature. She was trying to lean on our friendship to get me to do an exclusive piece on the serial disappearances case.
Oh yeah, she told us about that. She's always been super interested in that case, so now her wishes finally come true too.
Anyway, I told her to make sure that when she writes about you guys entering the opera house with the critical evidence, that you both sound really
Sherlock, c'est
cool.
vraiment le perso qui vont sortir en 4.7 quand ils ont plus rien à sortir parce que bon voilà, c'est pas le perso le plus attendu quoi.
News, I also took Clorinde out for a meal.
Oh, are you two on better terms now?
While you were investigating Vacher's headquarters, Clorinde gave testimony on my father's behalf. It was thanks to her that we were able to turn the tide. I wanted to thank her. I mean, there's also no point in being awkward all the time.
Oh, that's great. Paimon also thought Clorinde wasn't actually a bad person. It's always good to have more friends.
Anyway, now that the case has finally been solved, perhaps it will slowly begin to fade from the public consciousness. Oh, actually, there's still one last thing I need to do.
Hein? Une dernière chose?
What is it? I should pay a visit to my father's grave.
Ah ouais.
And tell him the truth of what happened. And on top of that, just how much people still look up to him to this day.
Miss Navia.
Indeed.
Peut venir aussi.
We want to go too. We also think Callus is a really admirable person.
Sure thing. I'd like you two to share the moment with me. After all, without you, there might not have been such a positive ending.
And in that case, everyone, let's be off.
Poisson?
Considering the recent weather, we'll be lucky if we can reach Poisson before dark.
Yeah, you're right. It's been raining non-stop for a few days now.
On va TP directement à Poisson? Je pense ouais, là le chargement est trop long. Okay.
This is where my father's grave is.
Huh? There's someone there already.
Quelqu'un est là? Hein? Clorinde?
Isn't that
Neuvillette?
Why would the
Neuvillette qui
chief
pleure?
justice be here?
Enfin, en tout cas, qui pleut.
Navia?
My apologies. I should have asked before coming to pay my respects.
Don't say that.
Sorry about that.
Oh, I was trying to say there's no need for you to apologize. I wanted to show my father how much I've grown. But still, I doubt I've grown to the point that even the Chief Justice would feel compelled to apologize to me over and over.
In that case, I will stop apologizing for now.
You really could use some pointers on understanding human emotions, Monsieur Neuvillette.
Monsieur
In any
Neuvillette.
case, why did you come to Poisson?
Il pleut.
Well, ever since that day, I've been turning a question over and over in my head. Just what is justice anyway?
Oh, OMG.
There was once a time when I didn't want to believe that there could be anything more important to humans than life itself. Oh, rather than that, it's probably more truthful to say I didn't believe humans were capable of resisting the most basic instinct of living things, which is also why I didn't stop your father from beginning that fateful duel. I believed that a truly innocent man would never throw away his life like that. That there was nothing, should have been nothing more important than one's own continued survival. But Mr. Callus proved me utterly and decisively wrong. If not for his sacrifice, the serial disappearances case would have remained unsolved to this day. Mr. Callus made the choice he did for his daughter, for his associates, and for many people completely unrelated to him. And in the end,
Oh, la tenue de Neuvillette est
from a
classe de fou
certain
quand même. Hein.
perspective, one could say that he did it all for the sake of justice. A justice that's higher than life itself. So, you asked me why I came here. I just wanted to say my apologies to Mr. Callus in person. I should have noticed all of this much sooner.
Trop pragmatique Neuvillette. C'est pour ça.
This regret has filled me with a sadness that has haunted me for days. That high and mighty chair in the opera Epiclese indeed insulates one from many important things. Spina di Rosula, thank you so much for your hard work and perseverance.
I'm sorry for being mad at you before. So, you're actually one of those types that's cold on the outside, but pretty thoughtful on the inside, huh?
Sorry about that. Self-expression is not one of my strong suits.
Didn't I just say you don't need to apologize?
Ah, so Navia and Neuvillette seem to have made their peace as well. Let's not disturb them for now. We can wait till after they're done.
Pour rendre hommage à Callas après Navia et Neuvillette.
Paimon's never paid respects at someone's grave before. Did Paimon do anything rude there? Huh? Oh, Paimon didn't know that was a thing.
Donc on voit Paimon marcher.
Paimon doesn't know what she would do if she can't fly.
À terre, Paimon. Oh no. Pourquoi elle a dit no?
Anyway, Neuvillette is still standing around there. It's not often that we can catch him alone like this, so why don't we go talk to him for a bit?
Oui, est-ce que tu pourrais pas nous arranger un... Ouais, voilà. Arrange-nous un meeting avec Furina.
Oh, it's you two. Did Miss Navia invite you to come pay your respects to her father?
We ran into Navia on the streets today, so we just followed her here.
I see, I see. Then is there something that I can help you with?
Well, it's pretty hard to run into you like this, since you're usually super busy.
Please feel free. Though outsiders, you helped us solve one of the greatest mysteries in Fontaine, and it would be my pleasure to return the favor.
Ah, c'est le moment du dump de l'or, là? L'honneur primordial.
So, at court, the bad guys referred to that special water as water from the primordial sea, but what is it really?
Truthfully, that name is already quite accurate. I can only surmise that Vacher and his ilk only learned of its nature and existence after extensive research. There used to be a special sea on the surface of this planet. The nature of its seawater was rather different from that of the sea we know today.
Particulière.
Most of Tevat's life forms were first born in that special sea. You could say it nurtured much of the life on this planet.
Huh. So it really was where everything
La mer
began.
primordiale.
But today, the primordial sea no longer exists on the planet's surface. What Vacher discovered must have been some kind of special case, or a remnant from a truly ancient age.
Huh. So that's how it is. Oh,
Pourquoi les Fontaines peuvent exister dans cette eau?
Indeed. Why would the primordial sea, which was known to engender and nurture life, suddenly reverse itself and devour life instead? To be frank, that also doesn't match my understanding of this world and its laws. There must still be some unknown secrets around the people of this land. Is there anything else you'd like to ask?
La prophétie qui circule à Fontaine. Hein.
That the sea levels will rise and everyone will be dissolved in water, leaving Furina crying alone on her throne, but the sins of the people will be finally washed away for good. Does that appropriately summarize the version you've heard?
That's right! It was Linny that told us back then.
Yes, up to the present, I think we reached a point where we have no choice but to confront this prophecy. Rumors have it that this prophecy is rooted in the last words the former Hydro Archon left to...
A prophecy? Of the former Hydro Archon?
Two parts of the prophecy have already proven correct. The rising sea levels, and the ability of the people of Fontaine to be dissolved. We should... Speaking of the prophecy...
On a toujours pris ça au sérieux. Elle collecte des renseignements dans toutes les vagues dans le but d'y remédier.
Indeed. She has been collecting information and intelligence from across Tevat for this purpose. If the rumors were true, then perhaps this prophecy is the conundrum left to Furina by her predecessor.
But with Furina being the way she is, can we really trust her to solve it?
Is there anything else you'd like to ask me about?
À propos de Tartaglia.
My apologies. My investigation has still not reached its conclusion. However, I still believe the judgment of the oratress.
Ah oui, même lui il dit que l'oratrice était bizarre. Hein.
But you also said you thought he was innocent.
For many years, I have been quite aware that the oratrice does not simply mechanically repeat
non, l'oratrice est bizarre. Hein. Moi, je pense que l'oratrice faut la détruire.
As a divinely created mechanism, the people's unified faith in the concept of justice is integrated into it.
Oui, mais le peuple ne veut que du drama. Le peuple. Ça fait deux actes qu'on nous apprend que le peuple n'est là que pour le drama et le spectacle. Ils seront d'accord avec n'importe quelle sentence tant que c'est quelque chose qui les amuse et qui permet de les divertir.
Which is all to say, I've been prepared for a situation like this for a long time.
Donc la foi du peuple envers la justice, bon. Bon.
From the room where the Oratrice's core is stored.
I was not aware such a thing had occurred. Perhaps that could serve to prove my conjecture. I will add that to the list of items to investigate. In any case, I am inclined to believe that the Oratrice does have a methodology of its own. We just do not have enough information.
Le plan de d'Arlecchino pour sauver Fontaine, c'est de se débarrasser de l'Oratrice. C'est donc ça.
Based on Furina's reaction, I doubt even she had any idea what was going on. She managed to bluff her way through it, though.
Parce que justement...
The time-tested twin tricks of bravado and drama.
même lui, il dit qu'il aime que les dramas. De toute façon, Furina est une fraude. Pour l'instant. J'ai beau bien aimer le perso, c'est une fraude. Mais du coup, je disais, je pense qu'Arlecchino, vraiment... C'est peut-être son but, de justement détruire l'Oratrice. Parce que les jugements de l'Oratrice sont arbitraires et ils ne sont pas... Ils sont trop orientés. Et vu que Arlecchino, elle représente un peu le bas peuple, le foyer de l'âtre, les orphelins, elle se bat pour la justice et elle se bat contre les nobles qui se croient tout permis et qui sont généralement favorisés par le système judiciaire, eh bien je pense que l'objectif de Arlecchino sera de détruire l'Oratrice. Mais enfin, c'est une théorie.
While we do intend to get to the bottom of this, for now, we regret to say that the Fatui Harbinger will just have to bide his time in the fortress of Meripede.
Oh! Et du coup, ici, on va peut-être... Oh, c'est stylé, c'est-à-dire qu'on va le revoir... on va le revoir avec Tesli. Tartaglia. En 4 points, du coup, sûrement. En 4 points, on va le revoir à la prison. Oh, ça va être marrant de voir Tartaglia en prison. Ça va être drôle, ça. D'ailleurs, Tartaglia, il a toujours pas son œil divin, on est d'accord? Son œil hydro ne marche toujours pas, c'est nous qui l'avons.
If we did incorrectly
il a juste sa
convict him
délusion.
of crimes he did not commit, we will most certainly compensate him to the fullest extent allowed by the law.
If you ask Paimon, the only compensation he'll want is a no-holds-barred fight with you.
Is there anything else you...
Bah... Mon frère.
Your sibling. Another blonde-haired traveler.
Ah, il l'a pas vu? Pourtant, il doit être vu à Neuvillette.
Sorry, but I've never seen anyone who matches that description. If he ever stepped foot in Fontaine, I'm sure he followed our laws to the letter, and had no reason to appear on the stage of the opera Epiclese. Is there anything else you'd like?
C'est tout? Ok, bon bah, j'ai plus d'autres questions.
Very well. It was my honor to provide you with what answers I could. It will soon be time for me to leave this blissful tranquility behind, and return to Palais Memornia.
You really are super busy, Monsieur Neuvillette. Paimon thought you only came here to pay your respects today because you had the day off.
Crime and villainy do not have the day off, and so justice must work around the clock as well.
All right, you've got a point. Huh? Paimon just noticed that the
Ah, Paimon, ça fait quand même une demi-heure, hein. Y'a plus de pluie. Oh! Ok, ça se finit comme ça. Genre là, fini, ok. Oh, j'ai ma constellation! Oh là là, c'est bon, mon voyageur va enfin devenir fort. Ramasser une goutte d'eau de ce source restaure 2 points d'énergie à la voyageuse. Bah écoutez, c'est terminé. Je vais aller à la fontaine parce que ça fait depuis 2 jours qu'on n'arrête pas de me dire hey, y a un truc sous la fontaine, si tu désactives le son, machin. Que les dialogues? Non, je mets le son à fond.
I think the next one is triumph.
So lonely. Just how much longer?
Elle dit quoi, genre, je me sens tellement seule, combien de temps ça va encore durer? Elle dit? Sûrement la prophétie? Ouais, y a un truc, De toute façon, y a un truc avec Furina. Y a un truc qu'elle cache, évidemment. C'est pour ça que on n'a pas encore tout vu, donc elle a encore beaucoup d'actes pour briller. Il y a encore 3 actes, je crois, environ, au moins, 3 actes. Donc c'était l'acte 2, donc le dernier acte de Fontaine, enfin non, le dernier acte de la 4.0 de Fontaine. Donc on aura la suite en 4.1, j'imagine. On va donc aller dans la forteresse et on va sûrement y revoir Tartaglia, ça va être cool. Je sais pas s'il aura un rôle majeur, mais il aura un rôle à Fontaine, ça c'est sûr. Donc ce qui est cool, c'est que maintenant j'ai débloqué les quêtes quotidiennes à Fontaine et je vais m'empresser de le faire. Donc ça a duré un peu moins de 3 heures la quête, un peu moins de 3 heures, ouais. Donc c'était plus rapide, 1 heure en moins que le premier acte. Et là, normalement, je peux mettre Fontaine, d'accord hein. Voilà, voilà. Au final, je regrette pas d'avoir choisi le doublage anglais. Et je pense que je vais continuer comme ça pendant tout Fontaine, j'imagine. Maintenant que j'ai commencé, je pense que tout Fontaine, je vais garder les doublages anglais. J'ai beaucoup aimé du coup le nom des personnages français. En tout cas, des lieux et personnages français, c'était vachement marrant. Ça se voit qu'ils ont quand même fait beaucoup d'efforts là-dessus. Pour respecter les accents, etc. J'ai bien aimé les thèmes abordés au final. Il y avait des thèmes qui étaient intéressants. Maintenant, est-ce que j'ai préféré l'acte 1 ou acte 2? Honnêtement, il y avait plus de cutscenes badass dans l'acte 2. Clorinde, Navia, Tartaglia, Neuvillette qui le couche. Enfin, c'est les deux que j'ai le plus retenu en soi. Ah oui aussi, du coup, la fin avec Vacher également, j'ai bien aimé cette conclusion-là. Au final, je trouve que c'est une conclusion qui fait sens, au final, avec le personnage et toutes les horreurs qu'il a commis. Mais après, je vais pas vous mentir, je pense que j'ai préféré l'acte 1. J'ai préféré les cutscenes et l'acte 2 avait des moments plus épiques. Mais l'acte 1, j'étais plus dedans. J'étais plus pris dans l'action, on va dire. Parce qu'il y avait plus de Furina, et j'ai bien aimé le perso Furina. Il y avait aussi la découverte. Et le tout, il y avait le système judiciaire qu'on découvrait pour la première fois. Donc il y avait cette découverte de tout ça, alors que dans l'acte 2, c'était juste un remake. Et au final, on était beaucoup plus acteurs dans l'acte 1 que dans l'acte 2. Dans l'acte 2, je vous avoue, je vais pas vous mentir, hein, la première moitié, même, ouais, 60% même, de l'acte 1, c'était beaucoup de blabla. Avec Navia, avec Calas, avec Jacques. C'était pas inintéressant, mais c'est vrai que c'était beaucoup centré autour de Navia, quoi. Et Navia, même si je déteste pas le perso, c'est vrai que j'aurais bien aimé qu'il y ait plus d'interaction avec d'autres persos et pas 1h45 autour d'elle, quoi, on va dire. Voilà, du coup, mon avis. Donc j'ai préféré l'acte 1 à l'acte 2, mais l'acte 2, j'ai quand même trouvé solide. Et il y avait un beau dénouement. Et ça me hype pour la suite, évidemment, je sais pas, est-ce qu'on va aider Tartaglia à s'échapper de prison? Qu'est-ce qui va se passer là-bas? Ça va être intéressant. On n'a même pas encore vu Arlecchino, c'est vrai. Maintenant, concernant Furina, oui, pour l'instant, c'est une fraude. Furina, elle est la plus grosse fraude qu'on ait vue pour l'instant en termes d'archon. Et alors, bien sûr, évidemment, je me doute qu'elle aura des pouvoirs et tout, et on le découvrira dans l'histoire. Mais c'est vrai que, du coup, je comprends que des gens n'aient pas forcément apprécié le perso. Parce que oui, c'est une fraude. Elle est un peu trouillarde. Elle essaie de se donner une image arrogante, mais en fait, elle n'arrive pas à l'assumer, clairement. Mais c'est ce qui fait aussi un peu le charme du perso. Moi, ça me dérange pas, ce genre de personnage-là. Au final, ça mène à pas mal de moments comiques, je trouve, notamment dans l'acte 1. Quand on voit, par exemple, les pensées intérieures de Furina, j'ai trouvé ça assez drôle. Tu vois, de faire pire que Venti. Pour le coup, non, enfin, je veux dire, Venti, pour l'instant, de ce qu'on a vu, c'est que Venti, il a réparé la lyre. Au tout début, il était en contact avec Storm Terror. Il a dressé Storm Terror. Pour l'instant, et évidemment, c'est que pour l'instant, je me doute bien que Furina, il y a d'autres choses qui sont prévues pour elle. Mais pour l'instant, Furina est, en termes d'archon, la plus grosse fraude. C'est pas forcément mauvais, mais c'est le cas. Mais c'est fait exprès, je pense que c'est dans leur... c'est fait exprès, et ils vont nous dévoiler plein de choses à côté. Donc voilà, mais moi j'aime bien l'archon. Je dirais que mon perso préféré, pour l'instant, d'après de ce qu'on a vu, ouais, je dirais Neuvillette et Furina, c'est mes deux personnages préférés. Il y a Clorinde aussi, c'est vrai. Clorinde, faut en voir plus parce que Clorinde, elle a juste apparu quelques fois. Elle a eu des moments badass, mais je pense qu'il faudrait plus s'attarder autour du personnage. Et je pense que d'ici les futurs actes, on aura plus de moments avec Clorinde. Neuvillette et Furina, j'ai hâte de voir aussi un peu leur relation parce que on dirait que Furina, limite, elle a peur de Neuvillette. On dirait limite que c'est son père qui va la gronder. Genre, dès que Neuvillette hausse un peu le ton, Furina, elle est en train elle a la goutte de sueur qui tombe. Elle sait plus où se mettre. Tu me dis pas que c'est Furina l'archon et tu me dis que c'est Neuvillette, je te crois en fait tout de suite. Bah oui, ok, oui, ça fait sens quoi. Et moi YouTube, du coup, je vous dis à la prochaine. Portez-vous bien et à plus.